that dial. You're now listening to Debate Talk Free Radio.
Brother B.A. Ben Abraham, and I'm your host of the Man Up segment on Debate Talk For You platform. The objective is for all brothers from different walks of life to come together, link up, and build on matters concerning all various stages of life. If anyone would like to reach out on concepts and ideas, you can reach Brother B.A. at radicalrhyme1984 at gmail.com. Again, radicalrhyme1984 at gmail.com. Tap in. Let's build. Shalom. Shalom.
Peace and greetings to you. This is Amuna Yisrael, affectionately known as the First Lady of Debate Talk For You. I have enjoyed coming to you week after week, season after season, growing together, speaking about the difficult topics, investing the energy, time, and effort with our brothers and sisters on the panel. Today, I would like to come to you with an opportunity for you to invest in something that I've been working on and that's near and dear to me. It's called the Yummy Cottage. You can learn more about it at www.gofundme.com/the Yummy Cottage. We're currently fundraising so that we can get it off the ground, and your help would be appreciated. Once again, www.gofundme.com/the Yummy Cottage. Check the link in the box and hope to hear from you soon.
All right, Vin, I'm going to take the intro and then I'm going to let you backdoor me.
All right.
All right, so basically, through this dialogue, you're going to hear who got that truth and who don't know what the hell they're talking about. All right, so basically, this is a disclaimer, and I've said this the past 2 times that I've been on this debate. All right, a lot of people give me this answer that why does the earth being flat matter? And, I just want to give a brief, answer to why it does matter. So, Esau, as Hebrew Israelites, is a liar and a deceiver. And all they care about is money, power, control, and actually saving their face. So if you were lying about something for 500 years, would you admit it? You see, a lot of money has been made with this whole globe earth theory. Take NASA, for example. That's billions of taxpayers' dollars going nowhere and doing absolutely nothing. That's like a perfect scam. And I wonder who's getting all that money. Maybe that's how they fund their agenda. And knowing how Esau works, they aren't likely to want to lose that game. If they came clean and admitted that they've been deceiving people about the perception of the reality of the shape of the earth, would they have to pay that money back? Will people revolt against the government? You got to understand that any lie can be justified in the mind of a liar, anything. So through movies, through television, through magazines, through books, through toys, and mainly NASA, they've played a key role in indoctrinating and conditioning the world into believing such damnable heresies that the earth is a globe, that it's a sphere. And not only a sphere, it's a spinning sphere that's a planet, that the water is kept perfectly symmetrical by some special force called gravity, that the earth is millions of years old, that each star you see outside at night is a sun of its own that has planets that rotate around its tube, that the earth is a third planet from the sun, spinning 1,000 miles per hour. Not only that, it's rotating around the sun in unison with 11 other planets at 67,000 miles per hour. The sun also isn't stationary under that solar system. It's spiraling through the Milky Way galaxy at 500,000 miles per hour. And the Milky Way galaxy alone is expanding into black space at 670 million miles per hour. This is established science. This indoctrination has bugged out and indoctrinated and brainwashed the masses. It has led people to become atheists. It has led people to believing in a Big Bang. It has led people to accept heliocentrism, which is sun worship. It's the belief that the earth and planets revolve around the sun, and the sun is the center of the universe. When the Bible speaks of geocentrism, the Bible depicts the earth as the center of all celestial bodies. That globe, that earth being a sphere, has opened the door to many vain ideologies, mainly evolution. You see, the globe earth paradigm has gave birth to a form of spirituality that's brainwashed people. It has controlled humanity, mainly by removing the Most High out of the equation and his intelligent design and replacing purposeful creation with unplanned cosmic coincidences in your solar system. All right, so by the powers that be, by them removing the Earth as the motionless, stationary center of the universe, you know, these powers have helped move us not only physically but metaphysically from a place of supreme importance to a standpoint that's meaningless, you know, which is absolutely demonic. All right, it's self-serving. It's led the masses to reject moral principles and adopt the belief that life is pointless, meaningless. Not today. If somebody says the Earth is the center of the universe and that nothing moves and that the Earth is flat, it's immediately outweighed by indoctrination of the globe due to how deep people have been conditioned. You learn about this globe before you can tie your shoes, you know, because quite frank, if the Earth is a globe, you know, then ideas of God, ideas of creation, and a purpose for human existence is unattractive, it's uninteresting. You know, just think about that. Like I said earlier, if the Earth is just one of billions of planets revolving around billions of stars and billions of galaxies, you know, then the ideas of God, the ideas of creation, and a specific purpose for human life and existence on this Earth becomes questionable, it becomes debatable, it becomes unlikely. Why would you believe in a Bible on the Earth that's when you've been indoctrinated that there's billions of planets and billions of stars? That's my standpoint. So I'm going to let the brother Vin talk, but through the process of this debate, listen to what people say and actually do they believe in it. Is it believable? You got the floor, Vin.
All right, brother. I mean, you pretty much said everything that needs to be said in terms of the introduction. You know, our belief is that in terms of the positioning of the Earth, we take up a geocentric model. And in terms of the shape of the Earth, or at least the shape of the surface of the Earth, we're taking the view that it is a flat Earth plane. Outside of what Tazapanya said, there's really not much else to explain. Once you take away heliocentrism from the opposition's argument, you pretty much underfoot every other argument that they have, whether that be Darwinian evolution, atheism, and there are about two or three others I think me and Tazapanya had decided upon that are affected by the crumbling of the heliocentric position. So there's pretty much not much else to explain in the introduction.
All right, once again, people's debate talk for you, the Flat Earth theology, fact or fiction. That's the debate that's going on right now, Team Flat Earth versus Team Global. The number is 646-716-7320. For those of you that just joined in, we just got this show started, the opening statement part of the show. So we're going to go to Team Global, but let me go check in with this brother Basim right now. Brother Basim, any updates?
Hey, what's up, Sal? If you see a number from Atlanta, from Georgia, that's Uncle Cat. And if LaRon's partner is a no-show, Uncle will volunteer to be his teammate, and then Madan Komet is also calling in. So however LaRon wants to do it, but, you know, everybody's looking forward to a good team debate. So I'm going to fall back, man. I'm going to enjoy this. Peace. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
All right, Shabbat shalom. All right, LaRon, you know, I guess you're going to run solo for now. And hopefully team members to come in. If you guys are out there, you got to press number 1, though. We had a whole lot of people checking out the show. And, you know, I have to, okay, hold on. I see somebody, press number 1. Let's see what it says. 412-225. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, peace, brother. This is Madan Komet.
Hey, what's going on, man? How you feeling, brother?
I'm well, brother. How you doing?
All right, man. So you ready to represent for Team Global?
No doubt.
All right, man. That's the case you didn't hear the rules and regulation. Of course, there's no foul language. You keep it clean, keep it professional. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to start the timer, LaRon. So, you got 8 minutes, guys, representing Team Global. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to start off by saying, first off, all praise to the Most High God. And second, when you deal with these guys, it's basically based off of conspiracy theories and guys who, you know, try to take the Bible from a perspective, you know, of saying that the earth is flat. When the earth, you know, there's plenty of word usages of the word that's flat that's used in the Hebrew, that we see that never conveys that, the earth is actually flat. So, what I want to start with is from the perception. I think the major thing is when you get to Genesis, what we find out is that it talks about the firmament of the heaven. And, then when you look at the Strongs and certain things, it says a solid. The firmament is a solid, basically. And I think that's where the major problem come in at, because actually when you actually open up the Hebrew text and you actually look how the Strongs and certain things that they put in there, it actually does not demonstrate as solid when we look at other usages of scriptures. Just when it says is the birds to fly in the open of the firmament, so basically firmament from a standpoint as they translate it in other texts basically means expanse, or the space that between the waters of the clouds and also between the earth. And also when you also look up one of the characters that's in the Hebrew, once you begin to break the word down, firmament, and you go back to the root word, it means condensation. One of the words is in there. So we're going to deal with that just later on. But what I want to bring out here is that we must understand that there are three heavens. And the scriptures clearly states that when it says, let's go to 2 Corinthians 12 and 2. 12 and 2. It says, I knew a man in Christ above 14 years, whether in the body I cannot tell, or whether out of the body I cannot tell, nor of God. Such a one caught up to the third heavens, or the third heaven, basically. So we know that the usage in the early on that deals with Shemayim, or Yim, that's early on in the scriptures of Genesis, when it says, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, we look at it and we see that it's in the plural. So we look at that there's levels of heaven. And actually, when you actually go to one of the scriptures, I believe it's Amos, I want to say 9 and 6, it talks about the levels of heaven just as well. And I think from the perception of certain ancients, they had the perception that the earth the sun rises up and the sun goes down, upon the perception, until we was able to basically put forth scientific information to know that the earth was not actually a flat, but it was actually round. And so when you got guys that take the text, and they don't really deal with science at all, and then also they deal with with guys who not in the lab, and they basically run off of certain things. Now my thing is especially in Isaiah 14 and 12, it clearly states that Satan or Lucifer said in his heart that he will ascend above the clouds and also the stars of God, right? And he will try to dethrone God according to the scriptures. Now, what we must understand is that there are thrones and dominions that are seated in heavenly places, as the book of Colossians expresses and says. And those thrones and dominions that we see correlate when we jump to Revelation chapter 12. When Revelation chapter 12 itself says that, it says in Revelations, it says that rejoice ye that are in the heavens, but woe unto those that are on the earth. So when it says rejoice ye that dwell in the heavens, that means that these thrones and dominions are seated in these heavens. So when we look at the earth and we look at other planets, these planets are actually planets that once of this solar system was inhabited at one part of time, but became desolate due to the war that took place with those deities that defied the Most High God before Adam came into his kingdom, or his kingdom was made for him, or the restoration of the earth. Now, when we jump back to Isaiah 40 and 22, Isaiah 40 and 2 says he stretcheth forth the heavens as a tent to be dwelt therein. Now, they will look at and say, well, it's a tent because it's a dome, but they miss the point when it says that he stretcheth forth the heavens as a tent is stretched forth to be dwelt therein. They miss the part when it says dwell therein. But then when we look at the scriptures in Revelations, when it says rejoice ye that dwell in the heavens, And then we must realize that there are other solar systems that's out there, and there are so many star systems or so many galaxies that's out there that God has basically created out there to be dwelt therein, rather if it's dealing with the man or whoever. So what we must realize, there are three heavens. And because there are three heavens, we must realize that each one of these heavens are expansions, and they have what you call they are firmaments. Basically, they are expansions. So we're going to deal with that, because we're going to deal with the firmament that we see that they're told to fly in the open of, and also the firmament we see where the stars reside at just as well. So, there's plenty of text, and I'm mainly just waiting for these guys to pull out these scriptures, to examine these scriptures, that they say that the flat earth is conveyed in. Joshua 10 just as well, when it says the earth still stood still. That's all perspective and perception. So when we look at it, on the flat earth model as well as on the global model, it would cause a problem on both models. But because God is the author and He's the mathematician, then He works that out. He has turned the sundial backwards during the time of Hezekiah, and He also sped it up back again also just as well. So then also in Joshua's time, He made the sun just as well to stand still, and the moon to stand still from a perceptive and perception. So when we look at it, we must realize that these texts are always from a perception and perspective of the people on how they convey things at that time. But once we start to realize these things and understand the earth and how it works, then we have to come up with a better explanation. And I think that's what actually happened, where they start to see that they had to convey the scriptures a little bit more and handle them a little bit more. So I'm interested to hear what these guys got to say, though.
All right, once again, it's Team Flat Earth versus Team Global. LaRon, just to let you know, your partner is still here. Moran, he's still here. So we're going to start off this rebuttal round. So we're going to have 5 rebuttal rounds, people. 5 rebuttal rounds, and it'll be 6 minutes each. So we're going to get that started. All right, so let's go back. Hold on. One of the team members from Flat Earth is missing. Vin, if you're out there, press number 1. Got to press number 1. Okay, there we go. I see you there. All right, so let's get round 1 started. Let me open up their phone lines. And go ahead.
Yo, Sal, wait.
Yeah.
We're going to have to do this right. And, as much as the brother just crucified his own self in that opening statement, I still would like you to give him a few minutes in the early round to state his stance on the nature of the system in which the world resides in.
Right. He never expressed his position at all. He never pinned himself down to a position. So we're not going to do that, okay? We're not no rookies. You're going to establish your position and what you believe. That's what your introduction was for.
Well, actually, I think I made myself.
Yeah, I was going to say, you want to allow your partner to speak right now, too?
Okay. You got Madan Komet in here. Yeah, I forgot the Madan, because I didn't know if Madan Komet was repping or did he know anything about the Flat Earth. But go ahead, Madan Komet.
Yeah, peace, Con, no doubt. Appreciate it, brother. I would just like to say that a lot of brothers that do believe in the flat Earth, they say one reason the Earth can't be round is that it's because how the other people that's on the one part of it, they would fall off if it was round. But through observation, I kind of look at the moon, and if you look at the moon, and if you look at this landscape of the moon, you can see that the landscape is actually going over to where you can't see beyond your eye, to a curvature shape, in my perspective, from what I see. And to me, that alone shows that no matter how the earth is shaped, the Most High can do as well. And if he want to suspend it, like in the earth, like he says, he suspends the earth over nothing, and he can do that as well. So I think that's when brothers make that claim, I think that claim is not well enough established. And but looking at the moon alone, and like G-Con mentioned, looking at different ancient societies, astronomy system, everything was round and global in shape. So I think that's basically where I stand on this point.
All right, so let's bring back Team Flat Earth. Let's bring them back in. Again, we're going to start off round one. It's going to be 6 minutes each. Round one all the way to round
Sam.
5. So let's open it up. Yeah,
let me give you an example real quick. My name is Tazapanya. I believe that the Earth is flat, stationary, and everything in the celestials rotate around the Earth, and the Earth doesn't move. Your turn, guys.
Right. Pretty much what we're asking you is not to just put out your argument, but just lay down the foundation of everything that you believe on your position. Where is the position of the Earth in your model? Is there a solar system in your model? Where's the sun in position with that solar system in relation to your galaxy? Explain what it is you believe in the briefest of senses so that we can get this thing going.
Well,
your line's open. Everybody's line is open.
I was going to say, even if when you look at the sun, when we say the so-called sun goes down, you can see that it's not actually going down. It's just going to the other part of the Earth, which I think a flat model can't show, because to me, if the Earth was flat, we should all be able to see the sun and the moon all at the same time. So I don't think that hold no weight.
Taz, do you mind if I grab that?
Yeah, grab it.
All right. Well, you're dealing, when you're reading scripture, you're dealing with what is observed. So the person is giving you their eyewitness testimony. Eyewitness, literally, what their eyeballs are witnessing. In the scientific method, which is a method that's required for anything that has to do with science, observation is pertinent. So if you cannot observe it with your two eyes, it does not exist in science. According to science, observation of the tangible physical world, okay? So when it comes to your rising and setting of the sun, due to our perception of our eyes, it seems as if it's rising and setting. But if you look up something called the law of perspective, then you see that when something gets further away, it's like, all right, when you have the night lamps or the street lights, and you're looking down the road, it appears that the street lamps get closer to the road the further that you get away. But in reality, we know that that's not the case, okay? That is called the law of perspective. It's the same thing with the sun. The sun has its circuits over the earth, and as it moves away from your position, it seems as if it's setting, okay? It's very simple. It's not rocket science. You can go ahead, Tyler.
We just want you brothers to establish: does the Earth move? Does it have a rotation? Is the sun in the center? Is the sun bigger than the Earth? Is the Earth bigger than the sun? We just want a quick foundation to get into the debate so we can know your side.
All right, so I didn't start the time yet. So LaRon and my brother Komet, y'all can go ahead and
I actually established that early on. Somebody got some moving around in the back. They might got to stop moving around a little bit.
Got to mute your mic.
They might.
Talking.
Yeah, I actually established my position. The model. I'm global. That's my position. So what else do I need to establish? I mean, I'm waiting on y'all to go with the go ahead. Pull your scriptures out.
So everything that's established, like the Earth spins at a 23.4 degree axis at 1,000 miles per hour eastward, and it spins around with the sun around the other planets 67,000 miles per hour, and the sun is spiraling through a Milky Way galaxy 500,000 miles per hour, and the Milky Way galaxy is expanding into infinity space at 670 million miles per hour. That's what you agree with.
All right.
Yeah. You say what?
Now go ahead, LaRon. My fault.
Yeah. Basically, once again, I stated my position. Now, if you want to try to push me into a paradigm to where, that's what you want to do, then you can. But I specifically said that you're not going to find anything in these scriptures that says that the earth is your model. So I'm telling you, if you find it, then you need to put it forth. So I don't know anything about far as dealing with on the scientific matter, but I do have some questions for you brothers that I have to ask about what you're putting forth. But I stated, and it's clear for everybody listening, in this Bible, which I want you to go, you're not going to find it. So let's get to it. That's all I'm saying. The earth is not flat, and it does not state that in this Bible. So let's get to it. I understand you want to push your paradigm, and you got your little quotes that you already got together that you've been studying on, but no, we're going to deal with this text. Now, if you want to go to your scientific perspective, then I have questions about that I want to ask you guys about that then.
All right, so now that we got that all out, let's get these rounds started. All right, so let's go to Team Flat Earth once again. Again, it's going to be 6 minutes each. Let's get it cracking. Let's go to that Team Flat Earth. You got it.
All right, so I'm just going to give everybody a basic scriptural breakdown that's brief, and then I'm going to let the brother Vin go, and if I have time back, I'll come back in. So basically, from the understanding of the scriptures, the earth is flat, all right, and there's a hemispheric-shaped dome on top of the earth, all right? And it's referred to in the scriptures as the firmament, all right? So if we go to Isaiah chapter 40 and verse 22, it reads, "It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and its inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, that stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in." When you go into this word for circle, it's Strong's H2329. And the problem is when brothers go into this Hebrew, they pick and choose definitions to fit their doctrine. When you look at everything, it's clear as day. So when you look at Strong's H2329 and you look at the outline of biblical usage, the first definitions used are circle, circuit, and compass. These are not definitions of what the word means. These are the words that it's used in the scriptures with Strong's H2329. So if you go to Job 22 and 14, that same word is there, and it's used in compass. You go to Proverbs 8 and 27, and it's showing a circuit. All right, so when you look at the second definition, it says the vault of the heavens. When you look at the bottom, it says circle, sphere, use of the art or vault of the sky. Brothers will just go to the word sphere and just have tunnel vision and be ignorant of everything else that's shown. So once you see circle, sphere, use of the arch, vault of the sky, what is that arch, vault of the sky? It's talking about the firmament in Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. When you go to the firmament in Genesis chapter 1, verse 14, it says extended surface, solid, expand, firmament, all right, flat as base, support, all right. And then when you go to the Genius Hebrew Chaldean Lexicon, and it shows you the definitions for in which is used in the scriptures. It says Genesis 1 and 14, 15, 17, and 20, the firmament of heaven spread out like a hemisphere above the earth. A hemisphere is half of a sphere. Two hemispheres make up one sphere. How in the hell can the earth be shaped like a globe when the firmament is the shape of a hemisphere and you put a hemisphere on top of a globe? No, you put a hemisphere on a flat surface. So when you go back to Isaiah chapter 40, verse 22, I don't know how brothers can't see how we get this in the scriptures. It says he stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, as a tent to dwell in. What are the shape of tents? If you Google a tent, it's in a hemispheric shape. You put tents on flat surfaces. It's simple. The scripture says there's nothing new under the sun. That under the sun is in reference to geocentrism with that sun inside the firmament. Because in Genesis 1 and 14, he places the sun and the moon and the stars inside the firmament. He didn't place no so-called planets or landable dwelling places inside of the firmament. All right, the sun and the moon is inside of our atmosphere, and the fallacy that these brothers have is that they're idolaters and they follow sun worship. So the sun has to be 400 times the size of the earth, which is why that brother said if the earth was flat, the sun would light up everything. No, it's based on perspective. All right, the sun is not 93.5 million miles away and millions of miles in circumference. It's right above your heads, and it's a local luminary. You got it, Vic.
All right, so pretty much when we're reading, what is it that you mentioned, Tazapanya? Isaiah 4 and 22?
40 and 22,
40 and 20. All right, so when he sits above the circle of the earth, this is a very common mistake that people make, and it's not to insult anyone's intelligence, but it can happen. It's a basic failure in basic geometry, okay? Understanding the difference between what is two-dimensional and what is three-dimensional. So when he says he's sitting above the circle of the earth, we understand that you can draw a circle on a flat piece of paper, and that flat circle is still round, okay? That is common sense, okay? So a circle is two-dimensional. It's a ball. It's not a ball. A sphere is a ball, and that's the model that heliocentric practitioners are putting forth, which they have no observational evidence for whatsoever, not even a sliver of evidence. Okay, so if Laron G is going to bring up his evidence, he's going to have to come strictly out of the scriptures, which we don't see that he can do in any way, shape, or form. The scriptures does not say anything about planets. The scriptures does not acknowledge axis and orbital rotation. Tazapanya, what's that verse where the earth is immovable?
The earth is immovable. 1 Chronicles 16 and 30.
Okay, so if the earth is immovable, okay, that's plain English. There's no way to get around that. That means there's no orbital rotation and there's no axis rotation. That is what immovable means. That is plain English. Taz, do we have anything on that in Hebrew, just in case they want to play that game?
I don't have it right now, but I can have it by the next time we come up.
We get it in?
Psalms 93 and 1. Yeah, I'll get it.
Okay. Sal, how much time we got?
Yeah, so our time about to run out. All right, so watch for conjecture. Conjecture is pushing a doctrine with incomplete information. Don't twist scriptures. Don't go somewhere and read it and then throw in an axial or orbital rotation because the earth is immovable. All right, so we pulled your card. It's all.
All right, people. We're still in round one, people. Still in round one of the rebuttal. Part of this debate. Again, it's going to be 5 rounds. Let's go to Team Global. Let me open up Madame Kemet line and Laron's line. You can go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to address two of the points the brothers made. First was he's talking about this glass dome. There's no way possible a glass dome could be over the earth because we got 1,000-pound meteorites that have entered into the earth and formed craters all over Earth. We just seen one in Russia a few years ago that they thought was a start of a war, but it was not. It was actually a fireball entering into the earth. So that right there shatters the glass dome theory. And far as the brother said the earth is unmovable, when we look at Genesis, when they talk about the land came up out of the waters, and certain when you go to certain definition, it refers to that land as the earth as well. So to me, I think they're taking it out of context, and when it was talking about the earth is unmovable, it's talking about the land that we own. Because we know earthquake can make it shake and make it move as well. So, but to my point, I think they took that out of context when they say that.
Right. And also I want to bring out Isaiah 40 and 22. It says, have ye not known? This is 21. Have ye not known? Have ye not heard? Have it not been told you from the beginning? Have ye not understood from the foundations of the earth? Excuse me. He says, it is he that sitteth upon the circle, right? Now, he is definitely right. That circle is translated a circuit, a circle, compassive, but also it's also translated in certain texts as a horizon. So when we look at it, right, the Bible specifically says, and he's specifically telling them that it is he that sits on the horizon of the earth, basically. In other words, when the scriptures clearly tells us that the Lord is foreshadowed as a sun and a shield, when you're dealing with sun worshipers, he's telling them that, hey, look, I've made these things. It is he that actually sitteth on the sun, sitteth on the horizon of the earth, right? And that's why it talks about, if you notice, it says, the stretcheth forth the heavens as a curtain and spreadeth them out to dwell there. To be dwelt there to spread them out as a tent to be dwelt in. So what is he telling us? In other words, he's telling us about what's going on in the heavens, and also telling us that he's the one that's sitting, or he's responsible basically for the sun that sits on the horizon, basically. And then also it says to spread the heavens out as a curtain to be dwelt therein. So when he spreads the heavens out as a curtain to be dwelt therein, our tent basically is basically saying that he has beat out, as it mentioned in Amos 9:6, these layers or these stories to be dwelt therein as a tent. So as when I tell you solar systems, when I tell you about other life, existing life that's outside of man, as far as dealing with angelical beings, thrones, and dominions, or principalities, this is what the biblical text is actually trying to demonstrate to us. So these brothers are not breaking down these scriptures properly. And also, when we look at certain words, for instance, when we look at certain words, when it says firmament, let's look up firmament real quick. Because a lot of these things that we're seeing, we're starting to find out is from a perception or their perspective that they added in there, and it's actually in parentheses letting you know that they actually added these things in there. So when you look up firmament, right, the word firmament is H7549, and it's rakia, right? And it's a extended surface. Now, if you look at it, the word solid there is in parentheses, and that's because they added it there. But later on, as you look at other texts, when the scholars came back to relook at it, during the they put it as a expanse, basically. So let me jump over to Genesis and break something down in Genesis real quick, because I think that we got it mixed up a little bit in these brothers' mind. They trying to bring out something that's not actually there. Now, when you look at the text, right, let's read the text. It says, and darkness was upon the, it says, and the earth was without form, whatever. And it says, and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God, let's jump down. It says, and God said, let there be a firmament or an expanse in the midst of the waters. So God is separating the waters, causing the gases to be, because you got to understand, in order for there to rain in the book, and for there to be rain, there has to be what you call, vaporization, and that's through the gases. And the gases that come, they turn into, when they rise up, they turn into a liquid form through condensation, and so once it rained back down, therefore that's how you have the cycle. So we see this also in the text when you read Genesis in the second chapter, when it says that he caused a mist. When you look up that Hebrew word in the Bible, it means vapor. So people will make you believe that it didn't rain before the flood, because but the scriptures actually does not say that. It just say it basically tells you that he made a mist or a vapor come up. Now we look at this text right here. What it's basically telling us is that God separated or made an expansion between the clouds that will give down the rain, and he made it the expansion of the space between it and created the atmosphere before he also put in the firmament of the heavens, or the expanse of the heavens, the sun and the stars and the moons. So once he put them back into orbit, after he made them or restored them in the book of Genesis, when he said, let there be light, because I believe God restored the light to cause day and evening, basically, as the scripture says it. Day and evening is made by the earth spinning on its axis, basically. This is how the earth spin on its axis, and it caused a source of light, the stationary.
All right, so we're going to start round two. This is round two of the rebuttal part of this debate. Let's go back to Team Flat Earth. Open up the phone lines and go ahead.
Okay, so one of the first things I wanted to get at is if we're making a mistake about plain English, about the word immovable, and you're going to claim that it's the land, I assume you mean the continent on the earth that is immovable. You are going to have to explain tectonic plates, okay, and tectonic shifts. So according to your own argument, you would have to account for that land moving, okay, according to your own position. So that's not even a good argument to take. I just want to get that out the way. I'm going to let Tazapani go ahead and I'll chime in the end.
All right, so once again, pure conjecture, pure scripture twisting, So it's key to listen to what brother said. This brother mentioned meteorites, which he cannot prove, and pull a valid source to prove a meteorite or to prove that the earth is in any danger from anything in the celestial bodies to come down onto the earth. All right? The brother talking about vaporization. He's talking about everything outside of the fact of proving that the earth is a sphere. All right? There's no way he can go into a scripture and show evidence of a globe with the sun in the center of his imaginary solar system. He has to demonstrate that. He cannot. And he brought up the definition in Genesis 1:14 of the word firmament. And once again, like I said before, he pick and choose. If you go into the Hebrew Chaldean lexicon, it says firmament of heaven spread out like a hemisphere above the earth. That's the understanding when you break it down of it is he that sitteth above the circle of the earth. It's not a hard thing to grasp. All right? So with this globe, and you have to understand that the globe defeats itself scientifically. Water's job is to remain level. All right? And these brothers have to explain how millions of tons of water is kept perfectly symmetrical onto this globe by a force called gravity, but little birds can get up and fly. We know that rivers flow down to the oceans to sea level. But on a globe, how would water flow down to the oceans if the oceans had an incline due to the curvature of it being a sphere? That doesn't make sense. Right. These brothers can't prove this. The oceans would destroy the land completely if the earth was round and somehow the water managed to stick to the surface. All right? If that's the case, rivers would constantly push on the land until they cut right through it. That's how water would behave if it's on a slope and it meets a barrier in its way. All right? That means if there's an incline to the water, you wouldn't even need wind to sail. I'm going to say that again. If there's an incline to the water, you wouldn't even need wind to sail. You would just go down with the flow on your globe, because that round surface gives you the incline, so it doesn't make sense. You can go to the ocean, you can look as far as you can see, and the ocean is going to remain flat because water's job is to remain flat. All right?
That's called the physics of water for anybody who wants to look that up. Physics of water. Okay, they have various experiments. Also, I don't mean to cut you, Taz. I just wanted to chime in terms of the circuit, how he's saying that we cannot prove a flat plane or flat Earth geocentrism. That's false. And I think one of the biggest problems that people in general have, especially the black community, is a reading comprehension and context. Okay, you can only get context out of having reading comprehension. So when you're understanding that a circle from the Most High's position, if he's seated on top of us, he's looking down, he sees a circle. Do you understand? The circle of the earth. Okay, it's just like if you have a race car track, a little child's race car track, it's in a circle. We'll pretend that's the circuits of the sun and the moon, and then you're looking down at it. Okay, it's not a simple observation. Yeah, go ahead, bring that out.
This is Job chapter 28, verse 24. For he looketh to the ends of the earth, and seeth under the whole heaven. All right, that's geocentrism in the Bible. There's nothing new under the sun. He just said about the flat earth. The earth will be flat, and the sun circumnavigates above the earth. That's why the scripture says there's nothing new under the sun. It didn't say he see under and around the whole heaven. It says he see under the heaven.
Also, I just wanted to question as well, how is it a trick on perception or a play on perception for Joshua to have stopped the sun in the middle of the sky? How are you going to trick the world's perception? Because this is an account that is mentioned in other cultures. So other cultures to believe in the sun standing still in the sky or to appear to stand still in the sky, that's impossible, my friend. That's just because your model is wrong. The earth is not spinning and it's not moving. It's the celestial bodies in the sky as we observe. If nobody told you when you were small that you were on a spinning ball and that ball is spinning around the sun and the sun is spinning around the center of the galaxy and yada, yada, so forth, you would not observe that and you would not know to believe that. When you walk outside, you look up in the sky, you see the sun and you see the moon moving. You see the constellations moving. You do not feel any movement, okay? This is common sense. How are you trading in your five senses for what man is telling you? That's ridiculousness. You can go ahead.
All right, this is this is
All right, so we're still in round two right now. This debate, round two. Let me open up Team Global's line. Team Global, and you guys can go ahead.
Go ahead, brother. You got it.
Okay, I was just gonna say, I'll wait. Go ahead, brother. You got it.
Now, one of the things that we look at, he used when it says the ends of the earth. Now, when he goes to those texts, which he hasn't went to no text yet, when you start to look at those texts, you start to realize that those texts are already talking about land just as well. It could be talking about land just as well. And then when you talk about the four corners, really dealing with east, west, and south and north, basically. So one of the things we want to bring out is let's look at, whenever these guys make these claims, you have to basically look at the usage of a lot of these words and where they're used at, so we can basically look at and see what they're talking about or what they're trying to convey. And so I find that a lot of these guys, what they're doing is they're looking at certain usages and also certain Bible translations, and they translate certain stuff a certain way, and then they go and they run with it without doing their homework. So with all the let's look at some of these usages of when you say the ends of the earth. Basically, let's look at some of those usages. Okay, we have one that's in 1 Samuel 2:10 when it says, "Those who contend with the Lord will be shattered. Against them he will thunder in the heavens. The Lord will judge the ends of the earth, and he will give strength to his king and will exalt the horn of his anointed." So basically, as we can see, the people who he's going to judge, basically, are the earth is also called as being sometimes as people, as land, because they're in those lands. So he's going to judge to as far as men have come to, basically. Another usage that we look at is also Psalms 22:27 when it says, "The ends of the earth will remember and turn to the Lord, and all the families of the nations will worship you." So when we look at these terms and this usage that we see, it's basically stating, as we can look at it and say, that a lot of these things that's being stated is basically dealing with people just as well. And also, I think he quoted a scripture that was in Chronicles earlier, and the scripture that he quoted that was in Chronicles was kind of shaky too, just as well, and not so flat like he thought it was. And I really don't remember what scripture it was, but it talked about the earth will be unmovable. A lot of those scriptures that we see is basically talking about the world. Because the world, you have what you call the Eretz that's dealing with the land or the earth, and then you also have the world there too. And what it's saying is the earth, the world will not be shaken or movable. Basically they will be stable and at peace, because guess who's sitting on the throne? The Most High will be sitting on the throne. So in His divine government, there will be no shaky or no movable type of world or system. Now, when we look at it, he says, "Once have He shaken the earth and the heavens, and then He will shake it once more again." So basically, what he's meaning by that is that these things have to be shaken or basically shook and purged, basically, to bring forth a kingdom. So, the scriptures that these guys is using, but for time's sake, is not solid at all. Once again, when you talk about the firmament or when you talk about the horizon, of different things. He's dealing with them from a perspective of showing them that all the heavens and all these things was created by him, even the atmosphere. And as I stated once before, is the only water that we see this above the expanse is the water that comes down through vaporization and condensation. That's the only water we see. So even in Moses, even in when Moses was writing about the flood, in order for there to be some vaporization and also condensation, there will have to be some the gas coming up and then turning into a liquid form. So that's the only water we see up there. As far as the dome that they're saying that's solid and all of that, and then they saying they shooting at the dome. If it's attached to the earth, I would think that it's shaking up a little bit, and meteors coming to this earth all the time, and also. It's just weird. Where do meteors and asteroids come from? And then they made of pure nickel. So are you saying there's a dome that's made of pure nickel? That we would be cooked in this place just in that case. So go ahead, brother Madan Komet.
Yeah, I just was gonna say, man, like I referred to before, we can look at the moon, man, and we can look at the landscape on the moon, and we can see how the landscape is actually going around the curvature. What you can't see the other part of. So if the Most High can do the moon like that and everything ain't falling off of it, and we can see that landscape on it is going into the curvature of the part of the moon, the other side of the moon, what they call the dark side, which we can't see. So the earth can be a globe. The Most High can do what he wants. And I think a lot of them brothers, they look at the Most High from man's perspective, and they think just because the earth is flat, that's how the Most High is going to see everything. They limit it what the Most High can do. If the earth was we know it's a globe. Well, I think I know it's a globe, but the Most High can see from whatever angle he wants to, so I don't limit to that because he said the ends of the earth because that's the reason why the earth is flat because he's going to be able to see everything from one end to the other end. I think they limit to the ability of the Most High from that perspective, but I just go back to the moon theory and go back to the ancient because I trust the ancient more than I do modern science, and I think science is the enemy of the Most High.
I guess we got some more minutes to sell there.
Yeah, time just ran out. But once again, people, it's the Flat Earth Theology, Fact or Fiction. Flat Earth Theology, Fact or Fiction debate. Once again, it's the last episode of Debate Talk for you before the summer break. We're going to come back on the air September 23rd, Friday, September 23rd, so keep a lock right here. Again, we're going to go to the Q&A later on where the listening audience out there can chime in. The number is 646-716-7320. Simply press number 1 and we'll add to the conversation later on. Matter of fact, I see people already pressing number 1, standing by, waiting for the Q&A segment. They have their questions and they're ready to, ask either Team Flat Earth or Team Global their questions. So again, if you have a question and you want your voice to be heard live, again, call in and stand by. The number is 646-716-7320. So now we're going to start round 3. We're going to start round 3 of this rebuttal part of this debate. Well, let's go to Team Flat Earth once again. Open up the phone lines and go ahead.
All right, once again, this brother has not provided one scripture to back his side. He's too busy trying to grasp to the understanding of our perception of the scriptures. He has not proven one thing. He said it's based on perception. This is 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 5. It says, "For this they are willingly ignorant of, that by the word of God the heavens of old and the earth standing out of the water." All right? So the earth is in the water according to the scriptures. All right? And not the water part of the earth as your globe. All right? So the earth is out of the water. All right? So that makes sense when I brought up to you about sea level. It would make sense that the land is elevated and the water is level but lower, sea level, than the land. That would make sense of why rivers run into the sea. All right? So once again, the brother is not contextualizing the scriptures. All right? If you can go to Isaiah chapter 40 and read it in so many different versions, and it's still saying the exact same thing. All right, the International Standard Version says, "He is the one who sits above the disk of the earth, and the inhabitants are as grasshoppers. He is the one that stretches the heavens like a curtain and spreadeth them like a tent to dwell in." All right, New American Standard. "It is he that sits above the vaults of the earth." So once again, he still didn't go to Rocky and read hemisphere and make sense of that. All right, you can go to so many different versions of the scriptures, and it shows you that the earth is in a dome. Amos chapter 9, verse 6. If you go to Amos chapter 9, verse 6, let me read it for you. It says, "It is he that buildeth his stories in the heaven, and hath founded his truth in the earth." All right? When you go to the Hebrew for that word truth, it's Strong's H92, aguda. And when you look in the Chaldea lexicon, it shows you the usage of the meanings of the many meanings of the words in context to when it's used. All right? The 4, it says arch vaulted work, used of the vaults of heaven, Amos 9 and 6. When you go to Bible Hub and type in Amos 9 and 6 and see these different translations, which is going to the Hebrew to use different words to make it an easier read, when you go to Amos chapter 9 and verse 27, it says, New American Standard Bible, "The one who builds upper chambers in the heavens and hath founded his vaulted dome over the earth." So the problem is the brother doesn't know how to contextualize even to the equivalent of a biblical scholar that translates the Bible to make it easier to read. So the brother is incorrect. He has not provided any scripture to prove any claim that he stood on. He didn't even want to say what he stood on in the beginning. All right, so I'm going to let you take it, man.
All right. Yeah, I mean, there's pretty much not much to go through because I think what we have here is a great representation of what happens in the general public, and at least what I come across a lot is a lack of understanding on both positions on what heliocentrism is and its history, as well as geocentrism and its history. So if you don't even understand the two principles, one which you claim to believe in and the other which you're arguing against, and two, you're not applying the proper context and therefore reading comprehension to the scriptures, you're not going to be well equipped to do battle with being Tazapanya in terms of this type of debate. I mean, in terms of the ancient cultures, we have many ancient references. If in fact the majority of the ancients believe that the earth is flat, okay, and that there was a dome encasing all of us in it, like the damn Truman Show, okay? So, I mean, I don't even know what else to say. We brought out so many scriptures for geocentrism and the flat earth, and we haven't heard one single scripture, again, not one,
Side with the globe.
Heliocentrism.
So let's just cut him on another premise. Since he said that the earth rotates before our time is up, he said the earth has rotation. All right, so the sundial, for example, is an old ancient instrument used to measure time. It dates back to ancient Egypt. All right, around 1500 BC. It was used in Greece. It was used in Rome. It was used in Central Europe, and it was most commonly used to determine time even after the mechanical clock was developed in the 14th century. The sundial was actually used to check and adjust time on mechanical clocks until the late into the 19th century. All right, so it's an ancient instrument used to show we live on a stationary flat plane, and it's the sun that moves on us. All right, how could the sundial work correctly on a spinning ball that's also spinning around the sun and still correctly measure time? Not to mention, it was used in the late 19th century to correct mechanical clocks. The ancient Egyptians believed the earth was flat. They believed the sky was supported by 4 places of mountains, and the sun was carried across the sky in a boat from east to west. All right, Chinese people believe the sky was a round dome surrounding a flat-shaped earth. All right, the ocean goes all around the earth, and the sun circumnavigates the earth. All right, in ancient India, it was believed that the earth was a circular disc surrounded by the ocean. In the center of the world was a mountain. All right, the sun goes around the mountain once a day. All right, in the evening, the sun goes behind the western side of the mountain, and it travels behind the mountain at night. So what I'm saying is all these cultures got flood stories in the scriptures, and they also got flat earth testimonies in their historical records. So if we're going to believe their documentation on the flood, you got to believe it with the flat earth. All right, the flat earth was brought to you by the Greeks. All right, and it was not a belief of our ancestors. The flat earth is far much one of the most provable doctrines found in the scriptures. All right, but the problem is reading comprehension. You got it.
Right. I mean, just the word in itself, heliocentrism, sun-centered worship. Come.
Once again, in this round 3, y'all. It's round 3 of the rebuttal session of this debate. We're going to go to Team Global now. Team Global, open up their phone lines, and you can go ahead.
Yeah, when you also look at Amos 9 and 6, right? Let's look up a couple of translations. That we see. I think these brothers, they run with translations, and they don't really look at the words the other usage at. But since they want to deal with translations, let's look up these translations when he talk about the word Gouda, right? Now it says this is the King James version. It says, "It is he that builded his stories in the heavens," which means basically levels of heavens, "and have founded his troop in the earth." Because remember, I told y'all that Paul said he was caught up into the third heaven, which they have yet to explain. It says, "He who holds his lofty place in the heavens and set its foundation on the earth," in Amos 9 and 6 in the NIV. So it says, "He who holds his lofty place," because that's what heaven means. It actually means who builds his lofty place. It's a lofty place. That's what it is. So when you look at the heavens and you look at the different planets or solar system, these are what you call lofty places. And Earth is also a extension of heaven, basically. So it's basically considered a lofty place or paradise or enclosure, just as well as the scripture tells us when it deals with Eden. It says that so he extended his lofty place. And it says, "in the heavens and set its foundation on the earth." This is Amos 9 and 6, the NIV. It says, "He built his place in the heavens and let its foundations rest on the earth." This is the CEV translation. It says, "He that builded his accession in heaven and have founded his bundle upon the earth." This is the DRB translation. And then last but not least, it says, "It is he that builds his ascent up to the sky and establishes his promise on the earth." And this is in the LXX. This is the Septuagint. This is one of the oldest that we have currently right now in the Septuagint. It says, and establishes his promises or his promise on the earth. Now, the Hebrew word the Hebrew word that's in question is a Gouda, meaning a band one. Band one usage, bands as and also used one time and bunch in one. It says the other translations that we see are used for the word is foundation in the NIV or troop. Now, when we look at one of the verses that mention one of the translations that mentions the dome that raises objections is the NASB, New American Standard Bible translation, which I think that is off base because the other scriptures doesn't validate that, So once again, that we got people just coming and translating, even when you deal with the Strongs, that are translated from a perspective at that time what they thought that it was. But now, when you have the newer translations, they translate in the firmament as expanse, basically, because they know also that at one part of time that even though we see firmament there, that how do you get in the scriptures when it says, "and let the bird fly in the open firmament"? So when you get in scriptures like that, you have to realize that the open firmament is nothing but what we see as the basically what we can touch and see right now, or what we can, basically see the storms, the clouds, and different things, and we see the expansion they fly in. The bird surely does not fly above the clouds, but they fly, up under the clouds, which is the open firmament, basically, the open expanse. And above there is what we see as the water. So the different scriptures that we see these guys using is way kind of off base and kind of ridiculous or whatever. So then also I want to bring out, I find it odd that, when we deal with eclipses, how does that work on the flat Earth model? How do you get a lunar or a solar eclipse? How do you get those things? You have a lunar eclipse. We have a red moon that takes place, and also the phases of the moon. At one point in time, that if I'm in Missouri and I see that there is a solar eclipse, right, or what is called a lunar eclipse, and I see it in Missouri, then you would have to think that the lesser light that was given for the evening is not over in the in the east. You wouldn't see it there. So at one part of time, they don't have light over there. They don't have a lesser light over there. So it's kind of weird. And then also they say that the moon or the sun is 3,000 miles above the earth, and that's kind of ridiculous within itself, because even with that, if it was that close above the earth, we definitely would know that you're not seeing during the eclipse. No moon will be on the other side of the earth. So it's just kind of funny that they're doing that. And when you look at their model, the flat earth model, how do they have solar eclipses? How do they have lunar eclipses? That's a question to ask. I think they got it wrong about the firmament. Why hasn't he dealt with the three layers that Paul talked about, the three heavens? He hasn't dealt with any of that yet. So scripturally, I find no model that they can use as a flat earth to explain what a solar or lunar is. And they say they're Hebrews, so they should know about the phases of the moon, because they keep the moon in the Sabbath and stuff like that. So, these guys are really odd. Go ahead, brother.
I just want to say, the brothers say, how can the earth be a globe about the water and whatever. But we can go to Hebrews 1:3 when it says the Most High is basically sustaining all things by his powerful words. So by that alone, the Most High can keep everything sustained as well, And we go to Hebrews 11:3. It says,
All right, people, just going to round 4 now. Round 4. I see we have a lot of people joining into the show. Again, for those just joining in, Flat Earth Theology, Fact or Fiction. The number is 646-716-7320. Again, we have 5 rounds of rebuttal right now. We're in round 4 right now, round 4. So let's open it up with Team Flat Earth. Let's go to the phone lines and go ahead. Go ahead, Team Flat Earth. Go ahead. Phone line's open.
Yo, Todd, you there? I guess Todd is not there. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, Taz, you there?
All right, well.
Oh, you there, Taz?
Anyway.
Okay, good.
Okay. So, trying to think what else there is really to bring up. They're not giving us much really to work with, brother. We haven't heard any verses, once again, to justify any of their belief systems. We'd at least like to see a verse for axis or orbital rotation. We'd like to see a verse. Yo, you there?
Yeah,
I can hear you now. I got you now.
I heard everything. I want to come in and cut everything he said. He dogged himself. So since he didn't state a claim in what he believed in, I'm just going to assume that the sun's diameter is 400 times greater than the moon, and that the sun is 400 times farther away than the moon. So according to globe theory, a lunar eclipse occurs when the sun, earth, and moon are in a direct line like 3 bowling balls. All right, but it is on record that since the 15th century, over 50 eclipses have occurred while both the sun and moon have been visible above the horizon. All right, that destroys what you just said, LaRon. All right, it's an assumption and a supposed proof of the Earth's shape somehow. Heliocentrists claim that these lunar eclipses and solar eclipses are caused by the shadow of a globe Earth occulting a moon. All right, the idea that the sun and moon and earth line up like 3 perfect bowling balls. All right, so the sun's light can cast shadow on the moon. All right, the sun has to be bigger than the moon. All right, and bigger than the earth, and the earth has to be bigger than the moon. This is heliocentrism. All right, so the sunlight casts the earth's shadow onto the moon. Unfortunately, this explanation is completely invalid due to lunar eclipses happen all the time. All right, so a lunar eclipse happens basically when the sun and moon cross paths while circumnavigating the earth. That's why it's that's why it's easily estimated. Even the phases of the moon. All right, so if he's gonna subscribe to lunar eclipses on this lining up like 3 perfect billiard balls, then he has a lot to explain. He has to explain that the moon phases are caused by that same phenomenon. Okay, but he can't take 3 perfect tennis balls and line them up and show you the first quarter moon phase, the last quarter moon phase, when the moon is 50% illuminated with a straight line down through it. All right, so the moon is translucent. The scriptures speak of the moon being a light. All right, the sun and moon, the light by night. LaRon knows this. All right, so you're incorrect, and you just got totally reproved on your understanding of eclipses. All right, because when you get back on this line, I want you to show me how you can show me the first and last quarter moon phase. I'll let you take it, Dan.
All right, cool. So what I wanted to do with some of this time was just read you a couple quotes from some physicists and one from Albert Einstein in regards to the motion of the Earth. So this is by physicist Bernard Jaffe.
Can I interject real quick just before you read it? I just want to read this. All right, this is Sirach chapter 43 and verse 6. All right, he made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. From the moon is a sign of feast, a light that decreases in her perfection. We know that the moon starts from the new moon when it's barely visible, and it goes to a perfection point 15 days later called the full moon, and it decreases in her perfection. The month is called after her name. All right, there's 4 weeks in a month because of the phases of the moon. All right, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the ornaments above, shining in the firmament of heaven, inside the firmament. You got it.
All right, cool. So I'm going to read you two. Physicist Bernard Jaffe, the data of the Michelson-Morley experiment were almost unbelievable. There was only one other possible conclusion to draw, that the Earth was at rest. This is Albert Einstein. I have come to believe that the motion of the Earth cannot be detected by any optical experiment, okay, any scientific method-based experiment, though the Earth is revolving around the sun. So he still makes the assumption even though he doesn't have any observational evidence. This is physicist Bernard Cohen. There is no planetary observation by which we on Earth can prove that the Earth is moving in an orbit around the sun. This is physicist Adolf Baker. Thus, failure of the Michelson-Morley experiment to observe different speeds of light at different times of the year suggested that the Earth must be at rest. It was therefore the preferred frame for measuring absolute motion in space. Yet we have known since Galileo that the Earth is not the center of the universe. Why should we be at rest in space? See, he has a conundrum because the popular belief with Galileo at the time was that the Earth was not the center. But all the evidence failed to prove that. Okay? The Earth is at the center. We're at the center of everything. The Most High created everything, and this is how, or one of the best ways we can get newbies and new people to come to the scriptures, okay?
All right, and another.
Once again, it's round 4. Round 4, the rebuttal section of this debate. Flat Earth theology, fact or fiction. What are you guys thinking about this right now? I hope you guys taking down your notes. And we're going to hear from you guys later on during the Q&A segment. Again, you know that number, 646-716-7320. It's Team Debate for those just joined in. So we're going to go back to Team Global right about now. Let's go to Team Global. And open the phone lines and go ahead.
Go ahead, Madonna Kamed, if you got some say, because, you know, I go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the brother made a statement talking about the moon was a reflection of the world. So if I'm going to use that, if he given that, I'm going to say, when I look at the moon, the reflection that I get, especially the harvest moon, what I be seeing down here in the south, I see landmass going over to the what they call the dark side of the moon, which to me can look like a ball. And I went to Hebrews 1 and 3, where it says the Most High is basically sustaining all things by a powerful word. So that alone can show me and prove to me that the earth can be a globe Because the Most High definitely says Hebrews 1 and 3. He's sustaining all things by His powerful word. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, and that's good you said that because they go to scriptures like when it says pillars of heaven, and they go to those scriptures and they misquote those scriptures because when you look at pillars of heaven, what pillars of heaven actually mean is mountains, basically. So they take these scriptures out of context when we look at it, and then also, they'll tell you that pillars of heaven that stands the earth up. But when you even look at modern, let's say if I want to make a highway or whatever, you look at the pillars that hold the highway up. It's always on some type of foundation. Some type of foundation up under it, you know what I'm saying? So when we look at those things, we must look at that the Most High said that it's His word that sustains everything and causes everything to be still and to be in space. And so, the statements that these brothers make is kind of crazy. That's why, if you play that game with them, like they say they want me to prove something. Hey, look, I'm not going against the consensus talking about science. You just quoted me guys that was ancient as dust. That now we have modern technology and science, and also we have observed new things by other technologies that they didn't even have back then. This is like you quoting Darwin, and Darwin didn't even know about what was neutrons and different atoms and these different things was at his time because at that time they wasn't dealing with that. So you're quoting me guys that died, that have passed away, that did the best they can do in their time, but we have advanced technology now, and we have advanced science. Several years ago, so even with the moon phases, I mean, like I say, you can't have a eclipse, and when you look at these eclipses, right, and you say that right now, it's the moon will be out right now where I can see the moon right now. I would be able to see the moon if there's not any clouds, and then it will be daytime over in the area probably of what time is it? Probably in California at that time. But then you see that also that in Japan it probably be coming upon their daytime to where it's rising in the AM, but we're still in the PM on the West Coast probably. Okay, and that's rising to the AM. Now, how does that work? How does that work when an eclipse take place? Either you're going to have the moon on one side of the earth, which the scripture clearly teaches against that. Because it says that He gave the lesser light to be a light for the darkness, for the evening time. So are you telling me that when the eclipse happened, that if I see it in St. Louis, that on one side of the earth there is no moon? The scriptures don't teach that at all. So when you even look at their cycle, it's kind of crazy, So, I really thought these guys were going to come with something a little bit better. I wanted them to really come with the scriptures because I'm not for all the jargon that they're going to spit. I'm not a scientist or none of that, but I will tell you anything that they spit out of this Bible, they're not going to be able to do. And Vinny over there, for him to be some type of Old Testament or Hebrew scholar or whatever, he hasn't really came with anything solid. And I too much don't even respect brothers that's running around here in the first place that making these silly claims. The dome. It says that He sits on the dome. That's what they say. What are asteroids? They say the asteroids break up off of the dome and come into hell. Do you know how many? The dome should be gone now. Water should be just pouring in as much as asteroids come in this earth. Do you know how many asteroids come in this earth and hit the ground, and then they pure nickel and iron? Are you telling me that we're covered by pure nickel and iron? This is ridiculous what these guys are saying, and they haven't proved anything yet. And it's up to them to prove their burden because they're the one coming to us, telling us what the ancients said, who does not have modern technologies. I am across the world talking to y'all almost everywhere in the world if you're not in my area. So we have technology to understand what takes place out there. As far as the earth moving and moving through space, I'm pretty sure that these people will actually know because they're the ones who do have the technology. Shooting at the dome, and we will have major earthquakes, major stuff going on behind that. I'm talking about back to back. Just, Operation Fishbowl, they shooting at the glass dome. Why don't they shoot at the sun? Is the sun and the moon, is it a solid? What is it?
It has to be some type of solid if it's burning through hydrogen and fusion and gases. It had to be some type of solidified at one point of time. So, these guys, is the moon solid? Is it a disk? What is it? Is it a sphere? Is it a globe? If it is a globe, then we are a globe ourselves. So these guys, man, come with food. I can't wait to the questions because I really want to really know what is these guys dealing with. It's just foolishness to me. It's a conspiracy theory, and I think that these guys are running with it. And it was made a joke at first. Now it's
All right, so we are round 5 of the final round for the rebuttal session of this debate, and after this, we're going to have the cross-examination. Basically, it's going to be a free-for-all. They can dialogue with each other and chop it up and ask questions. During the cross-examination part of this debate, it's going to be 10 minutes, 10 minutes overall, and everybody's going to speak to each other, and after that, we're going to take an intermission break and go to the people out there, see what you guys got to say. But let's start round 5. We're going to go to Team Flat Earth. We open up their phone lines. Okay. Here you go. And go ahead.
Oh, okay. So as we expected, when you don't have an argument even for yourself or against your opposition, what you do is offhand ad hominem attack. So that's not going to work around here. So whether I'm a New Testament, Old Testament, it doesn't matter. You're getting this work right now. You haven't proven anything you said. So as far as the moon, right, the brother says he sees revolution of the moon and land going into the dark side. Well, that's not even possible because the moon rotates, so it's kind of like a clock. That's why you only ever see one side of the moon. So you cut yourself there. As far as advanced technology and us having that and that disproving what physicists say, okay, that has no bearing. Technology has no bearing or equation to proof of your argument. Okay, Tazapanya has read you various verses, and I've backed them up with understanding as Tazapanya, and I read you quotes from physicists. These are scientists. I read you Albert Einstein. They're still working off of his brain works right now. So what are you even talking about, Laron? Okay, the majority of meteors, which you mentioned, don't even make contact with the Earth. You need to look that up. Okay, you don't even know what you're talking about. This is pathetic. And as far as the ancients had greater understanding of what this world is that we live in, and they had greater technology. Okay, you need to look that up. This is like a ridiculous argument. And as far as HAARP and all the earthquakes you said, if they're playing with the firmament, what do you think happens when they're using devices like CERN and devices like HAARP? When you look up the information and the data after they use them, and you look up the earthquakes and them spiking around the world, it usually happens right around the time they're ramping up to use these devices and right after they're done using them. So I don't even know what bubble world you live in. Tazapanya, you can go ahead, Oscar.
All right, so cool. I'm just going to hit them in the head with some more scriptures. This is Job chapter 11, verse 8. It is high as heaven. What canst thou do? Deeper than hell. What canst thou know? All right, so by the scriptures, there's a height to heaven and a depth to hell. You can't have a height of heaven in an ever-expanding heliocentric universe. You can only have a height to heaven on a earth with a dome over it. That would make more sense. Job 11 and 9. The measure thereof is longer than the earth and broader than the sea. It doesn't say longer than the sphere and broader than the curved ocean. You can only have length and width in this understanding on this flat level plane that we're giving you the understanding to. All right? So this is Colossians chapter 2, verse 8, to show you where your fallacy is, to show you why you don't understand. All right, it says, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ. And we know, like the brother said on the other side before, worldly wisdom is foolishness with the Most High. This flat earth thing is not worldly wisdom, it's wisdom of the ancients. That worldly wisdom y'all pushing is outer space, it's dwelling on other planets and moon landings and stuff. But this question and answer is going to get really key because I'm ready to answer some questions, and I can't wait for you brothers to be put on the spot. You got anything? Or I can bring out some more scriptures real quick. This is Isaiah chapter.
I got
some.
If you want me to go ahead.
I just want to read one real quick. This is Psalms chapter 8, verse 9. He bowed the heavens also and came down, and darkness was under his feet. 2 Samuel 22 and 10. He bowed the heavens also and came down, and darkness was under his feet. Bowed, Strong's H5186, is a coming down, descending, to stretch out, to extend. All right? The heavens bend around us like a domed hemisphere. All right? That's what I've been reading to you in other places on the Bible. All right? And it's on top of the flat earth. Yeah. You got the last part?
Now you go ahead, man. Just keep doing your thing.
All right, and yeah, like we said earlier, the brother wasn't clear about it. The moon, can you show me one picture of the moon, of an other side of the moon? The moon has been taking pictures of every different spot on the earth. And LaRon, you said something earlier. I have countless of eyewitness testimony of myself seeing the sun and the moon at the same time on my part of the earth. I'm in Houston, Texas. What about in New Delhi, India? If I can see the sun and the moon, how the hell, due to the angles of me visualizing the sun and the moon, could it be something on the other side? What you brothers want us to believe is against our senses. You want us to believe that way down under the ground, deep on the other side, is a man with his feet above his head, with the sky below him. All right, that don't make no damn sense. All right, but y'all believe that. It's nothing new under the sun.
Have we not called each other and both looked at the moon out during the morning?
Yeah, and you're in New York,
I'm in New York.
and I'm in Houston, yeah.
And we done that live time, so come on, man.
That disproves the globe based on the angles of me seeing the sun and the moon. That's a testimony. But ain't no other side of the earth. What kind of spooky boogeyman campfire witchcraft story is that? All right? Y'all believing in idolatry. Y'all are victims of idolatry. You've been spoiled by the powers that be. All right?
20 seconds left. 20 seconds.
All right, it's full of destruction. You got something?
Nah, man, just bring on the Q&A.
Okay. Yeah, this Daniel chapter 4, verse 11. The tree grew and was strong, and the height thereof reached unto heaven, and the sight thereof unto the end of all the earth. All right? So right here is a scriptural, metaphorical example of something being seen to the end of the earth. That can't happen on no globe.
All right, this is round 5, the final round for the rebuttal session part of this debate. Once again, after this, we're going to go to the cross-examination part of this debate. So let's go to Team Global and get the final rebuttal out. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think these guys need to study up a little bit more. As I've stressed before, when, these brothers said that he was outside, he was in Houston. We have a problem in Houston. And then this brother said that he's on the west, in New York somewhere. When you look at this, once again, this works on a global model, but on the flat earth it does not work because the earth actually spins on this axis. And not only do the earth spins on this axis, but also the sun revolves around the earth as well as it spins on its axis just as well. And also we have to where the solar system, the sun, the earth revolves around the sun as well as the sun has its a circuit just as well because the sun is not stationary according to when we look at Psalms 19. So on the global model, that definitely works. I mean, you can have it on a global model to where you because the sun is the light is actually reflecting about the moon. The sun is reflecting off of the moon. The moon is a satellite. So when you look at it, as I stated before, in Japan, it would be their AM now, I believe. Matter of fact, it would be. Let's look at that. It would be their AM. When you look at a world clock right now. Let's go to Japan and see what time it is. Because we got this technology now, which they didn't have. In Japan, it would be, okay, in Japan right now, it's 12:01 p.m. They 13 hours ahead. Hey, so whereas I see the moon on this side.
it's 12:01 p.m. So evidently the sun has to be reflecting up off of, guess what, the moon, and it has to be at a distance farther than the moon. So it's 12:01 p.m. on that side. Now on a flat Earth model, I'm gonna ask these brothers again. At 12:01 p.m. on this side, in Japan, right? What was this? Tokyo? In Tokyo. Into Tokyo. In Tokyo, it's 12:01. It's in the afternoon there. So, okay. And over here, it is actually 10:02 p.m., so to speak. Hold on. Am I saying this right? 10 hours. Yeah, they're 13 hours. What time it is over there. Yeah, they're 13 hours, so it's actually afternoon over there, right? Kind of weird. Now, aren't there 12 hours in a day, as Jesus said? So when we look at the overall, how would a eclipse work? Because it wouldn't work on a flat Earth. If I'm seeing an eclipse, and according to the flat Earth model, and the sun is basically, or the moon is blocking the sun, or the sun is, the Earth is between them. However, because that's my standpoint on what a lunar eclipse is basically the Earth is blocking the path of the sun, and the moon is on the other side and casting the shadows about the Earth with some of the solar light. But as far as a solar eclipse, how would that work? In other words, on their model, you will see that the sun and the moon is basically circling the Earth on top as a spotlight. How would that work? And also, another thing, too, is the moon farther than the Earth? Farther than the sun? Or is the sun farther? So it seems to me they change their model every so often. But let me read something to you real quick. Job 38 and 4. It says, "Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth?" He checking Job and his friends, because Job they thought they knew what they was talking about. When I made a cloud, its garment, and thick darkness, its swaddling band. Now, as I'm telling you before, the scripture is clearly telling you in the beginning he made the expanse, and he rebuilt the expansion and caused the swaddling band, which was the clouds, to be the thick garment above, which he said that he has given these things to be, guess what, for signs and for seasons, which was the light and the moon. So in order for there to be the sun and the moon, in order for there to be signs and seasons, the scripture is basically telling you right here, Job 38 and 4, and also verse 9, how he made the clouds a thick darkness and caused the mist to go forth, which is the vaporization and condensation, and put a expansions, which caused the firmament to be above the waters that was below, which was on the earth, and also the waters that was above, which we see now, that comes from the rain. So this is simple. But go ahead, Brother Madonna Kamat.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the brother mentioned something about we look about some about outer space, but when you look at Hebrews 11 and 3, it says by faith we understand the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible. So that right there, so there is outer space, and there are other galaxies. So I just wanted to stomp on the outer space thing as far as that. And as far as the brother said, they looked at the moon more than, like they looked at it more than Solomon. I said if the brother looked at the moon, they can see that when I mentioned the landmass on the moon that we see it is a landmass carved out or however it's made. We see that it extends farther than our eye can see, which means it's going somewhere. Because when you look at the land mass on it, you can see.
All right, so now begins the cross-examination part of this debate. Again, for those just joined in, I see we have a lot more and more people joining into the show. Again, it's the last show before the brand new season. Season 7 begins September 23rd. We're going to take a summer break. We're going to be back September 23rd. And the air is the Flat Earth Theology, Fact or Fiction. I know you guys are taking down your notes. I'm seeing the responses on social media. I'm seeing the emails as well. I know you guys are enjoying this debate. And we're going to get your questions, your comments later on. Again, that number is 646-716-7320. So we're going to go to the cross-examination part of this debate. It's only going to be 10 minutes for this particular segment. Both teams are going to be, dialoguing with each other, speaking to each other. Only thing that I ask is when you ask the person a question, please try to allow them to finish answering the question. And if it gets a little too crazy, of course, I'm going to jump in and moderate. But I'm going to let you guys, go at it and talk amongst each other. Again, it's only going to be 10 minutes. And after that, we're going to go take an intermission break. And then we're going to come back to the people out there, see what you guys got to say. So let's open up all the phone lines now. Open up all the phone lines. And let's see. Everybody's here. Hold on one second. All right, we can start the dialogue. Go ahead.
All right, King Globe. Why are there not millions of different real non-composite pictures of the Earth from these supposed satellites orbiting the Earth?
I think that, through CGI and different things, I think that what we see is mainly these people have contacted beings outside of ourselves, I believe. I believe that when we look at certain movies, they tell us, also ancient cultures tell us that they contacted beings that's outside of ourselves. I believe they was, possibly even the angels that's mentioned in the Bible. So when it's telling us specifically, I believe they're not showing us everything due to the fact of that. So that's why I believe that they're not. If you want to take a crack at that, you can, Madan Komet.
Yeah, I agree with you, my brother. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to add that I just wanted the brother to ask the question. Well, repeat your question one more time, brother.
I said, why are there not millions of different real, non-composite or CGI pictures of the Earth from all these thousands of satellites up there? There's no picture of the Earth. All of them are fake.
Well, to my perspective, I think some of them are real. But understanding the beast system, I think he mixed truth with lies. I think some of the pictures are real and some of the pictures are fake. So to me, being a shepherd in this land, I can only theorize for the most part. You know what I mean? But from my perspective, and my understanding, I think they mixing truth with lies. And I think some of the pictures are real, but to keep the masses confused and the masses answering questions, they put out their propaganda that way.
Okay, this is my stance. I'll say that every picture of the Earth is fake. Once you throw that out, there's no benchmark to establish the Earth being a globe. All right, so once we understand that, you're going off of blind faith and believing in men. So the listening audience can look up and look at these images and see that they're fake and see that the sizes of the continents change with each new image that they promoted.
Right.
So that's
on the
NASA
site itself, they tell you that. My fault. On the NASA site itself, they tell you that they're composite rendered images. Okay, so these are not photographs at all.
Can I ask you? Go
ahead, brother. Go ahead, Madan.
I was just gonna say, he said we believing in men. I just want to say this real quick, John. Every flat Earth model that you've seen, wasn't that made by men?
Well,
no,
the flat
because
Earth
I've
model,
made some own.
Yeah, the flat Earth model, that I subscribe to has nothing to do with actual accurate landmass.
But wasn't it made by men or women? However you want to put it.
Right, and so is the globe.
So is the globe. But
right, but I'm just saying that because you said we believe in putting our faith in men. So I think that's a contradiction. There's a real hypocrisy on your part.
You put your faith in the philosophy of men because nothing that you believe in is observable from you going outside and looking. The flat Earth model.
Let me ask you. Nothing that you have come with. In fact, you haven't even come out of the scriptures to prove heliocentrism and the ball Earth. So you don't even have any evidence, whatever. So your argument that you're trying to apply to us is like reverse psychology. You should apply it to yourself, brother. Where is
let me hold on, brother. Well, hold on, brother. Listen. Number one is the claim that you brothers is making is like the consensus is totally against it. That's the first thing. As far as scientifically. Well, hold on. So hold on. So when So listen, brother. No. Listen, brother. Can I? Hold on, brother. Can I?
One at a time.
Hold on, brother. Vinny, brother. I'll let you speak.
No, that's not my name. My name's not Vinny. My name's not Vinny.
You look like your name Vinny, though.
Well, that's not my name, brother. Have some respect.
Ivan.
My name is
Vincent,
Vincent, or you can call me Mr. V.
No,
my name's not
brother,
Vincent.
listen.
It's Vincent. Get it right.
Okay, Vinton. All right, cool, brother.
No, Vinton.
Right,
T-O-N.
Oh, you put the ton on the Vinton. Okay, like
no, my father
Vinton.
put the ton on it. Get it correct.
All right, cool. All right,
let's get back on the topic, y'all. Let's go.
All right, you back to
All right. So listen, brother. Listen. All I'm saying is this: if I go to court, right, the proof of the burden is not. You have to prove your case because the consensus is already against you. So you're making a claim, so you have to prove that claim, brother. So listen. So let me ask you a question. Hold on.
Whether or not the consensus is against us or
let me
not
ask my question, though,
because
brother.
the name of the debate is Flat Earth versus Globe Earth. So we are both supposed to provide
Let me ask you a question, brother.
Go ahead.
Let me ask my question because y'all asked y'all a question, brother. Now listen. Now, okay, I'm trying to understand how this works, brother. Listen, okay. So the dome, I got to get this. The dome. The sun is inside of the dome, right?
According to Genesis 1:14, yeah.
Okay, well in Genesis 14, it's stated that there are actually 3 heavens, as Paul stated. What is that talking about?
Well, you have the atmosphere, you have the luminaries, and then you have the realm of the Most High.
So those are the 3 heavens that he's talking about? So, okay. Now, how many firmaments is there?
There's one.
There's one firmament.
And what is the firmament? Is it the dome?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so let me get this. So he placed the sun and the moon within the dome, and which is the
brother. You don't have to get
inside of our.
You can read it right in Genesis. You can read it right in
Okay,
Genesis.
okay, brother. So I'm just trying to get it going. All right. So listen, when he placed that inside of the dome, right now, okay, it says that the birds may fly in the open firmament. What is that talking about, brother? Because it seems to me it's not a solid.
The atmosphere.
Okay, now the atmosphere. Hold on. So hold on, brother.
Because
so now,
when you read the word firmament and heaven, it can be synonymously talking about one or the other. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. But I don't think you understand that the sun can be inside the firmament because it's so big in your mind. You brought up the example of Tokyo and time zones. Do you know how many time zones are in the earth?
Right. I definitely, but no, that's
how many time zones.
Wait, brother. I asked you about a eclipse. I asked you how. See, that's what I'm saying. You're bringing up the time zone, but you're not answering my direct question. When I said something about an eclipse, I said, how do you have an eclipse according to the flat Earth model? In other words, if you hold on, brother. Go ahead. Show us that, please.
Okay, so did you not listen to me during the debate? I said that eclipses have been put on record to be seen with both the sun and the moon above the horizon. I just told you I have testimony of me standing in Houston, Texas, and seeing the sun and the moon. On your globe model, I shouldn't be able to see the sun and the moon. All right, so if I could break it down to you, there are 24 time zones. The sun passes into a new time zone every hour. When the sun sets in New York, in 1 hour, it'll set in Chicago and Houston. In 1 hour, it'll set in Denver, Colorado. In 1 hour, it'll set in Los Angeles, California, and so on. So each day, the sun is passing, circumnavigating over the earth, and of course, the sun gives light to more than one time zone at a time, but over the course, it's a clock. And the sun and the moon work like the big hand and the little hand. And when they overlap each other, vice versa, that's a solar and a lunar eclipse.
Right. You got
okay, well, hold on. Wait, brother. Wait.
Hold on. Now, if you read in the book of Enoch, chapter 72, you'll get the cycles of the moon, and they'll show you the circuit.
Wait, hold on, brother. In Iran right now, in Tehran, Iran, it's 7:46 a.m. Right now, at 7:46 a.m. Right on your flat Earth model, would they be able to see the moon at this time?
If I can wake up in Houston, Texas at 7 o'clock in the morning and see the moon, then in New Delhi, which is on the other side of the earth, shouldn't the moon be over there? I said
wait, brother, wait.
That how can I see the sun and the moon at the same time?
Hold on, brother. Listen,
it's impossible to see.
Wait. Let me ask you this question again. It's 7:47 a.m. I can see the moon right now in St. Louis. Hold on. Listen, brother. It's 9 hours and 30 minutes ahead of us. It's 7:47 a.m. right now in Iran.
So are you saying are you saying that the moon is not over there right now?
Yes, I'm asking you, can they see the moon right now? I can see the moon right now. I'm asking you, can they see?
So my counter to you, in Houston, Texas, at 7 o'clock in the morning, if I can see.
All right, time is up, people. Time is up. And what I'm going to do is, anything that you guys didn't get to answer, of course, as we go along with the question, the Q&A segment, you can bring out some things. Let's take down your notes, write them down, put them to the side, and you can bring them out. We have more time during this debate to bring out some more information. Well, right about now, we're going to take a 8-minute intermission break. 8-minute break, and when we come back, we're going to hear from the people out there that's listening on social media, that's listening on their phone, via phone and Skype. Again, I see people standing by. They've been waiting patiently to ask their questions. All you got to do is, once you call that number, you press number 1, and we stand by for the Q&A segment. I'm telling you, you got to press number 1 right now, because it's going to be a long line of people waiting for questions. So let's take the intermission break right now, and we'll be right back after these messages. Stand by.
Welcome to the planets of debates. Debate Talk for You Radio.
Peace and shalom. This is Imuna Yisrael from the Sunshine State, and I am tuned in to Debate Talk for You, the place where you can get intellectual exchange with no profanity. I love it. 1.
Out here in Birmingham, UK, we stay tuned to that Debate Talk for You radio show. Just want to shout out my man Sal and all the other hosts. Make sure you keep it locked right here from the Express Truth. Peace.
Well, let me open up everybody's phone line first. Team Global and Team Flat Earth. Let me bring everybody back in. Make sure everybody's here. Okay. All right, so we're going to go to the people right about now. And once again, people, when you call in, there's no foul language. Keep it clean, keep it professional. All right, so let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to 910-489. Live and air.
Yes, shalom. There's good debate. You got a lot of information came from Flathead, and a lot of filler talk from the bald heads. I want to focus on one thing the bald heads said, which is they said that the reason you don't see a real picture from space is because NASA is covering up their relationship with aliens. Okay, so you got, and then Madan said that you got lies mixed with truth. So my question is, why do you accept something or a source that mixed lies with truth, just like the serpent did in the Garden of Eden when he mixed the lie with the truth towards Eve? You know what I'm saying? So this is devilish. This is deception, mixing lies with truth. We deal with the whole truth and nothing but the truth over here. You know what I'm saying? In reality, what reality circles, in the reality movement. That's what we do. So I'd like to hear an answer about that. Why do you accept a source that mixes the lies with the truth? That's ridiculous.
All right, Team Ballhead.
I wasn't expecting that.
I like I say, I think that Madan Komet made it clear before. It's his brother's man is building this thing upon a conspiracy, and they say, why do we accept this and that when they basically accepting the same thing? Like for instance, like I just told this brother about what time it was in Tehran, Iran, right? And I did the mile search on it, and these brothers say that the moon or the sun is 3,000 miles above the earth, right? I've heard them say this, and when they say that, and then you have you have it to where the miles between the Tehran and St. Louis is 6,734 hundred, then that's a problem, because now you have it to where these brothers would say on their flat earth model, which is the sun and the moon being 3,000 miles above the earth, you shouldn't be able to see the moon from Tehran all the way to St. Louis, Missouri, and it's being 6,734 miles. That doesn't add up at all. So I think that these guys, are tripping. So I think that somebody lying here, but I think that these brothers on this phone getting lied too. Now, is the government actually hiding stuff and lying about stuff? Definitely they are, and I believe it's out of source intelligence. If anything, they don't want people to know what's out there, because they know this what's out there is what's giving them the intelligence that they getting right now. So go ahead, brother Madan Komet, if you want to take a crack at that.
Yeah, man, I was just going to go back to the brother. I think that was Brother DeVar. He was saying, if I said Mr. Live with truth, I said, but like I said, man, we can go back to Hebrews 1 and 3. To me, that clears it up. The Most High sustains everything by His powerful word. So that alone can give to sustain a globe Earth to me. And like I told the brother earlier, if the moon reflects the world, why is the land mass on top of the moon seems to be going farther than what it is?
Let's go to Team Flathead.
All right, once again, you don't have to be in a Christian church to be a Christian. And I mean that by him coming in here saying, it's God, He can do anything. That's not what we're here to discuss. We're here to discuss what's factual and what's a myth. All right, we're dealing with two theories here, the flat earth theory and the theory that the earth being a globe, which holds no water. I don't know why LaRon is talking about the distance between St. Louis and Tehran. I gave him an example. For me in Houston, Texas, on the other side of the world is approximately New Delhi. So do your mileage on that. Do how far it is. So obviously the sun will have to be a distance up, and there will have to be a certain size that will give light to the earth. But if I'm in Houston, Texas, don't worry about distance. Worry about the angles of which I'm seeing these celestial entities. If I can see the moon still up in Houston, Texas at 8 o'clock in the morning, obviously it's night somewhere. All right?
Right.
And the moon has to be out there. Okay, so if I can see these two things, why are you stumbling when you're talking about the sun? The moon cannot be seen in New Delhi. In whatever city you call. When I can see the moon in the morning in Houston, when it's night on the other side of the world, supposedly. There is no other side of the world. The sun is small, and the moon is smaller than how you perceive it. Okay.
Okay.
So
how far is it? How many miles is the sun?
How big
LaRon,
is it?
let the brother answer
how big
the question, LaRon. Stop doing that.
How big is it, LaRon?
I just asked you a question, brother. How far is the earth? The moon and the sun away from the earth, brother? That's all I asked.
I would subscribe that the sun and the moon are of different distances, but in the same inside the firmament. I would say the sun and the moon are above the earth and are not as big as what we expected. The moon changes its altitude.
And they're working on parallel circuits. Okay.
So I'll tell you, for example, For example, when the moon and the sun are at the same altitude, half of the lunar surface is illuminated, and that's called the first quarter moon. Likewise with the last quarter, when it's 50% visible, that you did not prove showing 3 tennis balls creating that phase of the moon. You can't, all right? So whereas in the last quarter, when an observer looks up, they will see a shadow cutting the moon in half. All right? The
Wait, brother. Listen, brother, I asked you, how far is the sun and the moon away from the earth, brother? That's all I asked you. What about how far is the sun away from the earth?
Here, I'll put it this way. The sun and the moon are approximately the same size and are at the same distance. They're not 93.5 million miles away. I would subscribe to them being close. So if you want to conclude 3,000,
well, the flat Earth model.
It still has nothing to do.
You can't tell us about our model because you don't even know about your own model.
Wait, hold on, brother. Listen, I asked another flat
there
Earth.
ain't no hold on, brother.
Listen, brother.
Hold on. Let's get some of these calls. We're gonna go through and address all of those things. We gotta get some of these callers. Though. We gotta get some of these callers. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to 478-213. You're live on the air.
Hey, what's going on, man? Shabbat Shalom, Team Flat Earth and Team Globe Earth. This is Brother Antoine from Absolute Bible Truth. How y'all doing this evening?
Shalom, brother.
It's good. Shalom.
Antoine, brother, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, LeBron? Look, man, I hate, as much as it pains me to do this, I want to say good debate, but honestly, in all honesty, brother, this was not a good debate. Team Flat Earth really took the cake as far as bringing information and dealing with the scriptures and things that are brought forth. Not you, LeBron. I can't think of the other brother's name. I don't remember it. Kind of confused. I'm terrible with names. But the brother kept saying a lot of times tonight, according to this, it could happen. Well, according to this, a lot of things could happen. God could have things a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? But when dealing with a specific topic, I gotta agree with Tyler Payne. I don't agree with him on a lot of things as far as the Bible is concerned. But when it comes to this right here, you know what I'm saying, these brothers are knocking it out of the park. Now, me, myself, personally, I'm not, I can't say, I will say this, I am 100% convinced that we live in a geocentric world. It's not heliocentric. I do believe that we're a geocentric world. I can't give you every detail about everything. I don't know everything about the whole Antarctica situation. I don't know everything about, certain, things, but I will say this. I really thought that the team, they brought a ton of information tonight. And on the other side is a bunch of speculation. The brother, not you, LeBron, the other brother, he said it could. Like, I don't even know how many times he kept saying it could be this or it could be that without bringing facts. And a lot of other times, like, I felt like, I'm like, okay, man, there's a lot of speculation going on here or a lot of questions being asked. You know what I'm saying? And granted, he could take that stance all he wants to, but I don't feel like it's like, you should be debating it, when there's a lot of things up in, in the air. I want to give one quick testimony and one question really quick. I'll be really quick. I had questions about this myself about a year ago. I was questioning it big time. I didn't really understand everything. Some things didn't make sense, and I always question everything you taught in school. But I climbed. I don't have that active mathematics in front of me right now, but I climbed Stone Mountain all the way to the top, to the peak of Stone Mountain. And from the top of Stone Mountain, you can see downtown Atlanta, and you can see Buckhead, but they about like 9 miles apart from each other, like downtown, the business areas. They're like 9 miles away from each other. And I took my phone. I took a picture all the way around from where I was at in Stone Mountain. It was almost 20 miles away, the top of Stone Mountain, to where to downtown Atlanta was. And according to the mathematics of it, like I should only be seeing like half of the building. You know what I'm saying? But I can see almost the whole entire building, and I can see Buckhead. And I spent all the way around, and I saw nothing leaning over. And that first thing made me start to question. Like, all right, I really need to try to look into this. But my question, the real thing that got me is this to the ball earth. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm not 100% convinced on everything. I don't know all the answers to it, but there's some questions that people who believe in the ball earth cannot answer. So how fast it's a serious question. So this to the ball earthers. How fast does the Earth spin? Anybody can answer that. How fast does the Earth spin? As told by us.
Well, let me say this first. I heard what you said, but at the same time, I think you're a walking contradiction because you said there's no real facts. So, and what I see from what the brothers brought out from the scriptures, then none of that at all prove that the earth was flat to me. And the second thing, like I said, if we go to Hebrews 1:3, you asked me, I said could, and the brother, you asked me why I said could a lot, because the brother asked the question, how could the earth be a globe and the water not falling off? So that's why I referred to Hebrews 1:3, the Most High sustaining all things by His powerful words. So if the Most High wants the earth to be a globe and sustain the water how you want to sustain it, that's what I referred to. I was referring to His question. But at the end of the day, there's no facts. There's no facts that the flat earthers have come up with. If you look at it,
bro, we believe. I don't think nobody on this panel that believes all things are possible with God. We all believe that. All you doing is just stating the obvious. We understand that. We're not proving the point of whether or not it's a globe or not, or whether it's flat or not. That's the point they trying to bring to you. It's like I can't even deal with that. I've heard them say they're like, man, we ain't got nothing to rebut because you ain't bringing nothing. You know, all you're saying is stating the obvious. We believe that, you know, and brother, trust me when I tell you, like, I don't even believe or some of the things that we done went at it with these dudes before. You know what I'm saying? But they got, right is right, wrong is wrong. I am not a respectable person. Righteous is righteous. Do it. I'm talking about bringing points, but that's not my question. My question is, how fast does the earth spin on this? How fast does the earth spin? As told by us by science or by school or however y'all think.
That's science. See, to me, that's one of the mysteries. That's one of the mysteries of the Most High. So I don't think, you can get a direct answer for that in my perspective.
But if you had
unless you go by science.
Well, I'm saying.
Wait, hold on. Let me say something real quick. As far as your question, as far as when you said you climbed to the Stone Mountain, right? I think that you forgot to add to that the farther up you go, the higher you are. Now, how high is Stone Mountain? If you took me up. This is like if you took me up 20 stories, or you took me up on the tallest building on Chicago, I'll be able to see so much. So I mean, it's just that just don't cut the cake, because the higher you go, the higher.
No, listen, I understand. Listen, you completely missing the point, LeBron. This is what I'm talking about. This is why I'm saying, like, they are just like really running away with this debate. Y'all are completely missing the point. My whole point in saying that was like it made me question everything. You know what I'm saying? That's what made me say, dang, I don't see any curvature, because I can see everything in a 360 view and it's a straight line. I took my phone. Everything is straight. I should see some kind of bend in anything if I'm on the ball. That's what I was thinking. So like that made me question everything. It ain't about whether or not what it makes sense or not. That's not my point. You see what I'm saying? Like I don't know if y'all like not paying too close attention.
Let me
what
ask you this: How big is the earth, brother?
Hold on. Hold on. Let me answer his other question now, because I gotta ask you, because I want to see where he's going with this. The Earth spins 1,000 miles per hour, so to speak. What's your point? Where you going with that?
That's how you feel. All right. So that leads me to ask this, because I'm taking y'all through the process that I went through to ask questions. So the Earth spins at 1,000 miles an hour. So if me, I played basketball. You know what I'm saying, in college. So if I'm standing down, right, and I jump up and I come back down, if the Earth spinning 1,000 miles an hour, why do I land in the same spot? That's my first question to that. Is it because I'm still in the atmosphere?
Well, hold on. Number one is this: I think that for the most part, everything is because usually time they say this all the time. They say these questions. They will say, well, if the Earth is spinning these miles per second or this time, or whatever the case may be, they'll say, then why isn't the water flying off the Earth? Or to something what the brother just said just now, just as well. You know what I'm saying? And I think that there's a big problem with that, because I think that it's more so due to the fact of not only are we spinning, but also we also are going around the sun just as well, to where it seems to where it's fast to us. I mean, it's fast, but it's not fast to us. And I think because number one is when you look at the water, right, everything is basically being bound by God.
In other words, he told the waters where to come and where not to go and where things to be at. You know what I'm saying? Where things to be at. So I think that from that perception, I believe that it's dealing with basically with so much of what we call force. Some type of force or some type of gravity, and the only way to get outside of that gravity is through some type of force, as we see that when we look at planes getting off the ground and this of a sort. But that's how I will answer that. You know, me personally, I think that the question, the first question you asked is you climbed up to the mountain, you was higher, so you would be able to see it. The second one it's just like he said, God is the one who sustains things, as the scripture completely says, because the Bible says the earth hangs on nothing. So when we look at it, it's basically being hanging or it's being put in place by God. In other words, God is the one who has put it in place, and He's the one who's holding it up by His word. The Bible says so. I mean, that's my answer to that. I'm not no scientist, and I don't just as well, but
Hey,
yes, sir.
Hold on. Let me let Team Flat Earth respond quickly because we got some more questions. More questions. Go ahead, Team Flat Earth.
I hope we get at least half their time they had.
Yo, Taz, let me just help the caller out for a second because it's something that I believe LeBron was saying in terms of the circumference, right? All right, so the circumference of the Earth, they're saying is about 25,000 miles. Okay, so with that, you should, according to spherical trigonometry, you should have about 8 inches of curvature per mile. So when the brother is telling you he's standing on top of Stone Mountain and he can see almost the entirety of a building, that proves your ball Earth. Okay, it's known that there's other principles known as the lighthouse problem. Okay,
hey, brother,
you got things like no, don't brother me, don't cut me off.
No, this is the call.
All right, so there's a lighthouse. It's called Port Nicholson Light. This is in New Zealand, and I'm showing you this to show you the irrelevancy of you trying to say his altitude makes a difference. The altitude of the lighthouse is about 420 feet. It's visible at about 35 miles away. Okay, according to your ball Earth, according to spherical trigonometry, with the circumference of the Earth being 25,000 miles, it should be 220 feet below the horizon. Okay, I can give you about 15, 20 more examples. Okay,
exactly.
You need to account for this and stop buck dancing.
Hey, you're right, but this is the caller right now. By the way, this wasn't LeBron, but you're exactly right. I hear you. Yeah, and see that point right there was kind of like made me start to question everything. But my whole thing about, and I'll be done after this. My whole point of bringing about how fast the Earth spins was first thing I thought of was like I said, all right, if the Earth spinning that fast, I think it's faster than 1,000 miles an hour. They say how fast it's spinning. I think it's maybe close to equator is faster. I'm not sure. But if it's spinning 1,000 miles, if I jump up in the air, I should not land in the same spot if it's moving, especially 1,000 miles an hour.
You should land at Walmart.
I should land in the Gulf of Mexico. I'm in Florida right now, so I should land in the Gulf of Mexico somewhere. And then, and my other point, I was like, okay, well, just say I got to leave the atmosphere. Well, if that's the case, I should be able to go up in the helicopter, sit up there for about 3 hours, and come down and land in Mexico somewhere. I should be able to if the Earth is spinning that fast. And then the third thing, I'm like, all right, like I got my brother-in-law lives in California, right? An airplane, he can get on an airplane and fly to Atlanta and be there in like 4 hours, right? If the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles an hour, east to west, it's spinning 1,000 miles an hour. An airplane, a commercial jet, does not go 1,000 miles per hour. It goes like 500. You know what I'm saying? Some of the fastest go 600. You know what I'm saying? It will never catch up to the speed of the Earth spinning. Furthermore, how would it ever be able to land? You know what I'm saying? You can never catch a flight from California and go to the east coast of the United States if the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles an hour because airplanes just do not go that fast. You know what I'm saying? So it's either there's a problem with the mathematics that's going on, or we're actually living on a flat plane and under a firmament. And by the way, you go look in any Bible dictionary, any concord, go read Josephus. Josephus will tell you straight up that the Hebrews believe that the firmament is a glass, hard dome that's over the earth. That's what they believe it is. And you gotta understand NASA, man, go all the way back to Aleister Crowley, man, and all of that wicked stuff, man. Just go look into that stuff. Aleister Crowley, one of the most wicked men who ever lived on the face of the earth. Just go check that stuff out. LaRon, I love you. The other brother, I love you. Tyler Payne, yeah, man, brother, y'all did a good job. Ain't no ill will, like this ain't no salvation issue, you know what I'm saying, to me, you know what I'm saying? It's just, I think this to me, some of this stuff reading it just actually strengthened my faith in the Most High, you know, from the same things that I looked into. But you know, that's my 2 cents, man. Peace.
All right, people. We only have like 9 minutes on the air. What that means is we're going to go into the overtime part of the show. Also, that means if you're listening on social media, if you're listening on Blog Talk Radio, once that time runs out, the only way you can hear the rest of the show live is by dialing that number, 646-716-7320. So, again, we have 9 minutes on the air, people. If you're listening on social media, inside Facebook in a group, or if you're listening on Blog Talk Radio, once that time runs out, the only way you can hear the rest of the show live is by dialing that number, 646-716-7320. We're going to take more of your questions, and, of course, we're going to get final statements from Team Flat Earth and Team Global, but we're going to take more of your questions right about now. So once you call in, if you have a question, again, you dial the number, then you press number 1, and then we'll add you to the conversation. So make sure you call in before the time runs out. Let's get some more of your questions, though. We got to get more of your questions. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Somebody calling from Skype. Skype caller, you're live in air.
This is Black Jesus Minister. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Let me say this. It is a damn shame to actually hear this type of ignorance, this type of shameful ignorance coming from black people and the black community in 2016. We need to re-educate our people all over again and remind them of the importance of education. Now, to this clown fool who's from Houston, talking about a flat Earth, and the rest of you ignorants who don't even have an idea if the Earth is flat or not. Brother, I'm embarrassed. Brother, shut up! It's my time, brother. Be quiet, brother. Be quiet. Be quiet. It's my time to talk. Sure,
have
it's
some
my time
respect
to
when
talk.
you're talking.
You are an embarrassment.
Black Jesus. As far as the name calling, I got to ease up on the name calling though. But go ahead.
All right. Well, look here, gotcha. You are an embarrassment to the Houston Independent School District, brother. Please go somewhere. All right. Now, I am looking. First of all, let me say this. Negro nut, hood rat, poverty. I'm not calling nobody a name. I'm talking about poverty. I'm talking about the ghetto. Hood rat, Negro nut poverty is a disease. It is a problem in our community. Okay? And what do I mean by that? Because it is obvious that these brothers have never owned a telescope. They have never flown in an airplane. At least, and most commercial airplanes fly at 33,000 miles. These brothers have never been on a ship or a boat far out in the ocean. Have probably have never left their city. Probably have never left their neighborhood. And sitting up here and embarrassing the black community. And when you sit up here, when you are in a plane, 33,000 miles up in the air, in which none of you flat earth guys or know anything about, you're an embarrassment.
That's
as far as you can see, and be quiet, I'm almost finished.
And be
when
quiet.
You are in an airplane, sir, and you look as far as you can see, be quiet. When you're 33,000 miles up in the air, since you ain't never been nowhere, since you ain't never left your neighborhood, you keep talking about Houston. Oh, what I can see from Houston, so dumb behind. When you look across the atmosphere at 33,000 miles, you see nothing but the curvature of the earth. You cannot continuously see as far as the earth goes because it is hidden behind the curvature of the earth. Now, and when you are in the ocean, brother, you've never been on a cruise ship, you've never been in a deep sea boat. When you look as far as you can see, you do not see continuous ocean and land far away. All you see is water curving off at a certain distance, maybe a couple of 100 miles or so. That is the curvature of the earth. If the earth was flat, you would be able to see all the countries and lands for thousands of miles. But you cannot. And you don't know that because you've never been in a ship, a cruise ship. You've never been in a boat. You've never been in an airplane. And I am looking at my computer right now, and all you have to do at the tip of your fingers is look up the live stream of NASA of the Earth from NASA satellite. I'm looking at it right now. And you can also go to the live stream of the International Space Station and see the Earth, the round Earth spinning, and see it for 24 hours. You can watch the Earth spin for 24 hours and see that it is round. You can also see it from the astronauts who are in the International Space Station. You can see this right now. This is embarrassing, man. You guys are black men and black brothers. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely embarrassing to us as black people. And Brother LaRon was correct when he said that, and these were the ancient scientists, these were scientists way before they even had the power of flight, that proved that the earth and everything in the universe is round. When you look at a telescope, even when you look at the sun and the moon, you see that there's round. And when you get a telescope and look at the other planets, they are round. And so what LaRon said, when the eclipse of the earth and the eclipse of the moon occurs, you see the round earth eclipsing the round sun, or you see the shadow of the moon eclipsing the sun, proving that it is round. So if you're trying to say that the earth is flat, I don't even know if you're saying that the moon is flat. Okay, then, well, the point is, whenever the earth eclipse occurs, then why is it a perfect sphere? And if it's flat as you say it was, then you're trying to say that the earth looks like a dime or a quarter. It's round, but it's flat like a dime or a quarter. Well, then how the hell, sir, does every time that we have had a earth eclipse and a moon eclipse that we have seen a perfect circle, but if you spin a dime or a quarter, and once it's facing the moon from the side, not from the side view, but from the round point, from the curvature of the coin, which would be the shape of the earth that you all are talking about, we would see that line cross the eclipse, showing that the earth would be flat, as you guys say. But nowhere in human history have we seen a dime or quarter size earth position of the earth pass across the moon. I mean the sun. We have always seen a perfect circle, and a perfect circle for the earth, a perfect circle for the moon. Man, you guys are embarrassing. Y'all need to go somewhere and sit down and go cry. And then to the brother who come from Absolute Bible Truth, you are an embarrassment to Absolute Bible Truth, brother. I hope Josh don't believe. Does Josh believe in a flat earth? Tell me that. And then the rest of you brothers, did y'all graduate high school? Give me your educational background, the ones who believe in a flat earth.
All right, let's let Team Flat Earth answer. Let them answer now. Let's go to Team Flat Earth. You can go ahead now, guys.
All right, listen. I'm gonna let you have them. Just let me get them for a few seconds. First off, I have a degree of BA in psychology and a minor in philosophy with a focus on Eastern religions and with a focus on political science. Okay, so that was my background. I graduated in 2010. Okay, as far as what this brother's saying, I mean, does he have any background or evidence for anything that he's saying? The entirety of the call, we haven't heard one single drop or iota of evidence come from any of the ball earth references. So I'm not really sure what the brother was listening to. As far as him flying in the plane, anybody who flies in the plane, Tazapanya actually flew to New York. What was it, about 2-3 weeks ago? I was out here chilling with him, and he flew in the plane and took a couple pictures, and it's flat. Okay, the horizon is flat. When I was in the plane, when I flew to Atlanta, it was flat. Okay, everybody who flies in the plane is flat. You do not observe. First off, you have ball earthers who would tell you in their own arguments that, oh, well, a plane isn't high enough for you to observe the curvature of the earth because the earth is so big. Okay, so I'm not even sure what these brothers are arguing against. They pretty much don't understand geocentrism. They don't even understand heliocentrism, what they believe. So it really makes no sense, some of their arguments. They're really based on assumptions and personal attacks, which we've seen from the last caller, who pretty much had no respect for Tazapanya whatsoever.
All right, so I'm going to address Nephew Tommy real quick, man. So we are re-educating our people. We are getting these dumbass lies that exist in their head.
Oh, man.
All right?
Keep it clean, keep it clean, though. Keep it clean.
Can I finish? I ain't even supposed.
Yeah, I'm not saying keep it. I'm saying you gotta keep it clean, though. Keep it clean. Keep it clean.
Yeah. All right. So basically, if you listen to the debate, I told you that the sun, the moon, and the earth do not line up like 3 bowling balls in your eclipse. If that's the case, why has eclipse been proven and documented on record with the sun and moon above the horizon? That way it's not lined up like 3 perfect billiard balls. Nor can you show me the first phase of a moon phase or the last phase based on using a lamp and 2 tennis balls. It does not work. Like, this brother is so emotional, calling with a rant with no proof whatsoever. Like, my background of education, I went to private school on a scholarship. All right, I'm in the university. I'm in the university right now. I'm on the dean's list. I'm going to graduate in December with 3 degrees. All right, so that doesn't mean nothing to me. It means something to me when you can actually critically think and have reading comprehension. That brother from Absolute Bible Truth, we've had differences in the past, but at least he can put his pride to the side and say, you know what, this brother's bringing data. He's bringing scripture, precept upon precept, and he's bringing science that's observational. He's having his own convictions, and he get on his phone line and see that brothers are getting on the same accord. All right, the problem is you brothers on the other end that have the sword against your neck, and you're emotional, and you don't have no proof whatsoever. All right, so all you have is to try to put our belief under a magnifying glass when you don't have a foundation to stand on, because I've swept it from beneath your feet, me and Vin. All right, so that caller is emotional. He's a fool. He's an idiot. You can't put new wine in old bottles. That brother is indoctrinated with the wisdom of the world. He wants you to believe whatever the goddamn white man authorized. All right? And damn that.
Right. And
hey, can I ask the brother a question? The brother asked me why the water wasn't falling off the earth if it was round. If the earth is flat, why ain't the material up under the flat earth falling off of it?
That's because the boundaries of Antarctica, or what you call the continent of Antarctica, serve as the ice boundary, okay? If you guys did your research on geocentrism, that's a basic understanding. If you even look at the picture of the model, you can see that. So
no, I'm talking about underneath the bottom of it, brother. I'm talking about underneath the bottom. I'm not talking about the side. I'm talking about underneath the bottom. It has to be a bottom. So why ain't the stuff under the bottom of it falling off since the brother asked me why ain't the water falling off?
Do you want the answer, or you going to keep talking? I'm going to give you the answer. The deepest that we have dug as humans on this earth is 8 feet deep. So you can assume that the earth is 8 feet deep, all right? So the earth is stationary, and you want us to believe that there's a core in the middle and there's people standing on the other side. Like, that's spooky as hell. But yet you want to put our stuff in the magnifying glass, but you have moldy eyes, all right? You wake up with all that sleep in your eye, and you can't even see that you're the hypocrite, all right? Because the knowledge is against you.
And Tyler,
all right. Well, let me say this real quick. Hold on. Let me say this, brother, real quick.
Let me just throw this in, and then you can go ahead. There's something called the Kohler Super Deep Drill, and it's the deepest that humanity has ever drilled up until this point. Okay, they can't even get past the Earth's crust. So how is it that you were going to assume all these things, these theories that come with the ball Earth, when the scientific method-based evidence, observable evidence, is not there for you to do so? You have no support to lean on any of this stuff that you're believing in, let alone being able to apply it to the scriptures. That's all I wanted to say. Super deep, it's the Kohler drill, super deep. Okay?
Yeah, I think that for the most part, I think you said what you had degrees in. You said, brother, Van.
I have a degree in psychology, okay, BA, and then my minors were in Eastern religions and in political science.
All right. Also, what about you, brother?
Can you say your credentials? Do you have a college education?
No, just high school, brother. I'm just asking.
Just high school.
I mean, does that?
Okay, so.
Yeah.
So
hold on. I'm asking you. Hold on, brother.
I'm asking the question. I know what questions you're gonna answer. Yeah. So I'm a sports administration major. My minor is psychology, and I've taken numerous astrology and courses dealing with the universe as electives, and I've passed those courses. And I'm on a tier 1 university. I don't know. That may mean something to you as a respected
Hold
person.
on, brother. Let me respond, brother, because like you trying to get super out of order. But so I think that for the most part, that, you know, as we see what happens is we find these brothers, man. They taking information and it's what do you call it? They recite information that they hear off these sites of what they learn. And I don't think none of these brothers is really in the field of geology or, astronomy.
Yeah,
hold on. Let LeRon finish.
Hold on, Vinny. I will be the first to tell. Hold on. I will be the first to tell you that I'm not, but I'm not going to make that claim and really be sitting up here like these brothers is doing and making these claims as if they actually have done these things. Now, well, hold on. I think that I think that for the most part that you guys will have to explain, and I think that you haven't done a good job of really explaining it. What is the sun and the moon made of? And when you talk about a spotlight, right, like you say the moon is because I'm really just astonished by the eclipses. That's my thing. Like when you say it's a spotlight, right, and then you don't know how high the moon is or how high the sun is. Hold on, brother. You've been talking all this time.
No, I haven't. Actually, I've been talking the least out of all three of y'all.
Hold on, Tazapania. You and Tazapania have been talking, and when he just got to
all right, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, brother.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So you know, when it comes to the sun, right, and the moon, I mean, I got questions like, is it solid? Is it a sphere? What is it? Is it flat? What type of shape is it?
Can I respond? But
I'm gonna let. Hold on, Vinny.
Yeah, let him finish the question, then you can respond. Yeah, let him finish.
Let us both respond.
Listen, brother, if you keep cutting me off, I'm gonna start calling you back Vinny again, brother. But anyway.
It doesn't get under my skin.
All right, cool. All right.
It's really not.
All right, bedtime.
And we got some more callers standing by too, so come on now. Let's go.
So that's all I want to say is, brother, is it soft? Is it hard? Is it a spur? What shape is these things, brother? That's it.
I'm gonna make 10 seconds and I'm gonna let you have it, man. All right. This whole debate, you haven't proved one thing to side with your theory. You haven't proved one thing to side with your theory. Whether the sun is a solid or whatever you're trying to insinuate, it does not reflect the shape of the earth in which we're talking about. That's based on perspective. That's something that that's based on perspective. It doesn't define the reality of the fact of the earth.
What's the name of your universities, man?
What's
the name of your universities, man? What's the name of your universities y'all went to, brother?
It's not many tier 1 universities in Texas.
Hold on. Actually, that's the question that.
Not that many tier 1 universities in Texas.
Hold on. That's one of the questions that your boy Black Jesus Minister is continually texting me right now. What university you guys went to? That's crazy.
There's not many tier 1 universities in Texas, so go figure.
Brother, what's the name, brother? You ain't got to be so secretive.
Hey, the brother never asked my question, man. I asked him if the earth is flat like a quarter or whatever, why ain't the material on the bottom falling off? Since you asked me why is the water falling off the globe.
It's not flat like a quarter. That's why your
whatever. All right, brother.